disco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to another morning without Mike Winters. That's right, I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. No, Mike Winters off enjoying day number 2 of his Western adventure. Go West, middle-aged man. And he's heading off and sowing his Western oats, probably cowboy hat and chaps in tow. I'm assuming he's also wearing spurs. I mean, I bought them for him. I like to think that he's, utilizing the gift that I got him. That remains to be seen. But he's off exploring the Grand Canyon. From what I understand, the train is actually, they're set to get on the train today, I think is the word I got. Mixmaster Mike actually shot me a text message yesterday and mentioned, let's see. Trying to find the info. He said he's basically going to be getting on the train at some point today, and I think either making the journey in or the journey out. I'm not sure if this is the train robbery adventure, but that all remains to be seen as well. But you got me in the captain's chair for the rest of this week. Of course, Mixmaster Mike, if Kim lets him come back, I did, was thinking about the fact that we did basically send him to the world's largest burial plot. So if Kim decides to exact some revenge for some of the things that we've said about her on this morning show, we might not see him again. But if he survives, he'll be back in the captain's chair this time next week. And we got plenty to get to in today's show. Starting off in the 7 o'clock hour here at about 7:15 or so. Going to be sitting down chatting with Miss Christina Arnold and Miss Margaret Kinnard. I'm not sure which of the hats they're going to be wearing this morning. I'm assuming the Chavez County Republican women, possibly the Basta hat. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes, see what they're up to, and see how maybe we can get the word out. More on that coming up in just a bit. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, this is kind of a big deal because for the last several months, actually I think since right around the time the pandemic started and decisions started being made, we've had phone interviews with this young lady, but I was assured she will be in studio today. Miss Donna Oracion from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, going to be joining us in studio today. Going to be chatting all about the wrap-up of the spring semester, head into the summertime semester, and, of course, the fall semester approaching, and their Beat the Heat registration event that's going to be going on through, I think, Thursday of this week. So we'll talk about that with Miss Donna coming up here in just a bit in the 8 o'clock hour. Then coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, right around 9:15 or so, going to replay the interview we had yesterday. Had a chance to sit down with Mr. Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Offices, and we chatted all about bankruptcy, gave you kind of a crash course in everything you need to know about bankruptcy and why it's not the evil demon that we all think that it might be. So we'll get into that coming up here in just a few minutes. Plus, of course, your hourly features, which include your Town Hall News, Fox SRN Business Report, Kim Commando Report coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Got all the other good stuff, your Hannity Update coming up in just a bit as well. Right now, 9 minutes after 7 o'clock. Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive into the weather. And I'm not going to lie, you're probably not going to enjoy it. It's more of the same. It's going to be hot. Here it is.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The heat continues over the next few days and no rain coming up for a while. We have downslope wind coming off the mountains, sunshine and hot today. Afternoon highs in the upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70 and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 70 degrees on this here Tuesday morning. Yeah, it's going to be hot today, folks. They were saying 99 for the high today. Said to dash your dreams. Unfortunately, that's going to actually be 100 for the high today. That's right. Mostly sunny skies. Looking at winds, going to be light out of the southeast between 5 and 10 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly clear, dropping down to a low of around 71 degrees. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles an hour. More of the same. Hotness for your Wednesday, sunny and hot, 101 for the high. Now, here's where the things are changing, because they did tell us we were going to go on a run of 102s from Wednesday through Saturday. Now we're getting 101 for Wednesday, 100 for Thursday, and then 102 for Friday, 102 for Saturday, and 105 now for the high on Sunday. All with, 107 now they're saying. It was 105 a second ago. 107 for the high on Sunday, all with mostly sunny skies. Light winds, 5 to 15 miles an hour, mostly out of the south. Yeah, it's going to be hot, folks. Oh, but here's some interesting information for you, and I'm not sure exactly if I should be saying this, but I'm going to. The Roswell Recreation and Aquatic Center today, the outdoor pool, is free to the public. Mm-hmm. Second Tuesday of every month throughout the summertime season, it's going to be free to the public. Now, there is a 200-person max capacity. So, do with that what you will, but they're letting folks in as other folks leave. So if you just hang out for a little bit, you will be given your chance to head into the pool and kind of check it out for yourself, see what it's all about. So that's kind of some interesting information. All right, Tanner.
Yes.
You expressed an interest yesterday off air that that kind of piqued my interest, and I was genuinely curious.
Yes.
You wanted to do a live read.
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you something. What do you know? Oh, you actually might need to go get that. That might be our guest.
Probably. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, fine.
Never mind.
Fine. We'll get to you. We'll get to you, though. You'll have your chance. Let's talk about your firearms, because Zia Guns here in Roswell, they have got 22 ammo in stock. You need to get it while it lasts. Zia Guns in Roswell also has 50 count boxes of 9mm ammo in stock. Get that while you can. Zia Guns USA in Roswell, the largest Vortex optics dealer in the state. They now carry Athlon spotting scopes. They are your authorized Benelli, Stoger, and Umberti dealer. There's no need to go out of town. Designer Guns, they got you covered. And they're a destination store with professional staff that's going to help you get what you need. They'll buy your used guns. They have cash on hand in store. So much cash. Go ahead, try them. Yeah, they'll give you the offer that you deserve. You'll walk out with cold, hard cash. Maybe you're not into guns. Maybe it's something else on your list. Well, Zia Guns in Roswell now carries Dr. Squatch soap and accessories. Come on in and smell their great selection so you can smell like a man. They're also the only full-fledged Dr. Squatch soap dealer in Roswell. Plus, now that Mother's Day has passed, Father's Day is right around the corner. Maybe celebrate the pistol packing papa in your life. Get him the ammo that he needs. Maybe a new piece, possibly, or some Black Rifle coffee. That's right. They are one of the official Black Rifle coffee distributors here in southeastern New Mexico. So Zia Guns USA, the only gun store to be open on Sunday, but closed on Saturday because they spend time with their families, and you should too. Zia Guns USA in Roswell at 1907 North Main. Give them a call at 622-0023. 14 minutes after 7 o'clock. Going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after these, going to be sitting down, hopefully chatting with Miss Christina and Margaret from the Miss Margaret coming up here in just a few minutes on another morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned. Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
As the school year comes to an end and COVID restrictions start to ease, don't lose sight of the lessons learned. Cover your cough, positive personal hygiene, respect one another, show and tell others you love them. Fiscal and social responsibility are great ways to show your love. This is Damon Graham, your local New York Life agent. I can help you show your love to others. Call me at 575-623-0803 so we can determine how you best can show your love. Expect to be blessed.
Travis Hicks, Richland Auto Group. I'm here at Richland Chevrolet and Richland Dodge, living and working through some unprecedented times in my business and in our country. Even though it appears our lots are virtually empty, we're still selling new Chevys, GMCs, Buicks, Cadillacs, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. They're just selling right off the truck. Keep an eye on our websites. You can find them by Googling Richland Motors Roswell, as they show incoming inventory up to a few weeks out. Also, there hasn't been a better time to sell or trade your car in my whole career. Anemic new car inventories make the value of your car higher than ever. We've recently been able to give people who purchased their vehicles as far back as 2018 as much now as they paid then. Let me say it again. The car you bought as far back as 2018 could be worth as much as you paid for it then. And the best news is that our governor's color designation doesn't change the value of your trade. Freedom, trading at Richland. Just another reason to do business with Richland, where service is now job one.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 927 head of cattle sold on Monday on an uneven market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves sold 4 to 5 higher, feeder cattle steady, packer cows sold 2 to 3 lower, packer bulls steady to 2 higher, 3 to 400 pound steers 180 to 210, 3 to 400 pound heifers 163, 167, 4 to 500 pound steers 172, 180, 4 to 500 pound heifers 157, 163, 5 to 600 pound steers 164, 172, 5 to 600 pound heifers 142, 157, 6 700 pound steers 141, 164, 6 700 pound heifers 132, 50, 142, 7 800 pound steers 130, 141, 7 800 pound heifers 125, 132, 50, packer cows 70 to 79, canner and cutter cows 60 to 70, packer bulls 101 to 106, feeder bulls 64 to 82.50. Top half the cow calf pairs $1,000 to $1,460 per pair. Top half the bred cows $800 to $975 per head. Now remember, this is the top of the market and prices range down from this according to quality, condition, and feel. Mark your calendar, no sale Monday, July the 5th. We appreciate the business. Talk to you next Monday morning. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Joining us in studio this morning, Miss Christina Arnold, Miss Margaret Kennard from the Travis County Federated Republican Women. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Doing real good, doing good. So, obviously, early morning, we're all kind of shaking off the cobwebs, and we're also shaking off the cobwebs of the whole Rona thing. We're kind of getting back to normal. Things are sort of opening up. We're getting out and doing stuff, and things are changing as we get into 2021. And obviously, the laws are also changing. We've been hearing a lot of interesting information coming out lately about some legalization, some recreational legalization, so to speak. So why are we here this morning? Let's talk about that. Are we talking about are we talking about the legislation that was recently pushed through? What's been going on in the at the Capitol?
This last session, the governor actually called a special session to pass cannabis legislation.
Okay.
And so it will be effective June 29th of this year.
Okay. So as of June 29th of this year, it's officially passed. It just takes some time to kind of get things in place.
Administratively, they have set up to do. There's a great deal of time before retail actually comes about, and that's not till April of 2022.
Sure.
So what we are here about today is to discuss the Travis County Federated Republican Women's upcoming roundtable forum discussion.
Okay.
Which is about cannabis in our community.
Gotcha. Okay. So specifically, what are you guys going to be focusing on during this roundtable?
Well, we have a roundtable of guests. We have Senator Pirtle.
Okay.
Mayor Kintai, Sheriff Harrington.
Gotcha.
And one of the great House brothers from Pecos Valley Productions.
Okay.
The whole point is to get educated.
Gotcha.
Cannabis is here. Our community needs to be educated on how it works.
And we're all kind of going through the door together. I mean, it's brand new. there's folks that probably know about the growth side of things. There's folks that probably know about the business side of things, and it's kind of an education for everybody. This is all brand new. We've never dealt with anything like this on a retail level. Obviously, Pecos Valley Productions has dealt with a little more of the retail side of things. They kind of know the business side of things, and that's sort of what it is. It's just kind of getting all that in order and figured out.
Well, a lot of people, whether they're for or against it, if you don't know enough about the way something works or how it's processed, it can be confusing, and it can also be worrisome.
Right.
That things might be worse than they are, or that it could be better than it's going to be. So just outlining it, whether not necessarily the Chaves County Federated Women aren't coming from a 2 or 4 or against position. Mostly our goal is just to present the information. I have a lot of questions, and Margaret does as well as a city councilor. So,
and that's the thing, is it's not the same as it used to be. There's so much more that goes into it. The science has increased. There's so many different ways that they synthesize it now, and then that they can put it into different products. And it's all a learning process, I think. And I think what I like about this is that you guys are approaching it from all the different aspects, from the legal side of things, from the legislative side of things, the business side, and just kind of taking all those aspects into account. And it sounds like we're kind of putting together like a team, a fighting force against figuring out how we're going to make this work in Chaves County.
Yeah, and the roundtable is set up where we actually have designated questions that have been formulated. So basically, in that hour and a half, you're going to get a lot of information, and hopefully we can cram it all into an hour and a half.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing, is there's so much that goes into it. From, like you said, figuring out the timeline of like how we put things in place and setting up retail spaces, the business side of things. I know that other states have dealt with putting money in banks. That from proceeds from the sale of cannabis, they've had issues putting it in banks, and so they've started other systems to process that money essentially. So there's just different things that need to be put in place, and I think it all starts with an education, and that's kind of where we're at. So let's kind of talk about what is going to happen during this this roundtable. We're all going to be sitting down. We're going to be chatting. Let's talk about the timeline. What do you guys know as far as like the timeline goes of what we're looking at?
As far as for
the next year or so, like what are we going to be up against
for cannabis?
As far as like cannabis goes, as far as like putting things in place, like do we have any kind of like timelines, like any kind of idea of like what needs to be put in place and when?
So in my research, what I found extremely interesting is that they already have the website set up. They're already starting to move, which considering that I guess I just wasn't anticipating it just happening this quickly, and then.
And when you say they, you're talking about the state.
I'm sorry. Yes, the state has the website set up. The actual New Mexico Regulation and Licensing Department has it all set up. So I kind of knew it was passed and hadn't really even considered how much had been done on it. And then I started doing the research, and it's set up. There's a timeline. There is an organization, or there's actually the advisory committee. The advisory committee has already been, applications for it, the deadline has already come up as of May 3rd.
Okay.
So, and then the timeline that you're talking about, you have, and I have it listed here, you have in September, they'll select the advisory committee. They'll start accepting and processing licenses and applications for cannabis producers. And then in January, they'll start issuing the licenses and doing training and education on cannabis. So then you have the next step would be April 1st, cannabis sales begins.
Right. And that's the whole thing, is there's a whole ecosystem that has to be set up beforehand. I mean, the retail space, but in addition to that, the security, the different different aspects of accessories that go with it. I mean, there's whole industries that are being started basically from the ground up. And I think one of the things that you touched on back there that was kind of interesting was you said that you didn't anticipate that all this would just be ready to go.
Right.
I think a lot of people did. I think that a lot of people have kind of been anticipating this for a few years and sort of had laid the groundwork.
If you're a producer, but if you're just an everyday citizen or a member of this community,
Sure.
you don't. And I think the goal is to make sure that our community doesn't wake up on April 2nd and go, what the heck?
Yeah,
was
that we don't get swept up in the fervor, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is, there's people that like we said, there's people that know what they're doing and they know the business, and then there's some of us that kind of need to know so we can kind of make sure it all flows smoothly.
Well, and I think that the point that you were trying to make is that the state already has all of these things in motion shortly after the legislation was passed, right?
Yeah.
So, seems like there was some foreplanning there.
Definitely a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety. I think maybe in a lot of ways, a lot of excitement for the possibilities of things. But this is specifically just to kind of get folks who maybe have no idea what any of this is, just a baseline knowledge of it's coming. You need to be aware of it. Things could change. From a legal standpoint, from a legislative standpoint, things are going to change, and we want to make sure that folks are educated about it.
Well, we kind of also want to know what our rights as a community are, and that's why Mayor Kintai, to talk about there are certain do's and cannot do's for the local jurisdictions. I think that we have an idea of what cannabis regulation looks like in other states.
Right.
We've heard the talk, and whether we like it or not, it's been passed.
Right.
But how we actually react to it in our community, that's handy to know what kind of what we can and can't do.
Sure, absolutely.
And so that's why you bring in the mayor to discuss what the city is looking at, kind of because the county has some has some powers as far as growers and certain retailers, but knowing what it's supposed to look like and what we, I think the biggest thing for me is I have friends from Colorado who basically say one of the most irritating parts about the cannabis legislation up there is that people will just get right in front of doors and smoke cannabis because it's not like, cigarette smoke.
Right.
They haven't regulated it to that extent where you can't smoke near doorways and
I think in a lot of cases the places that treat it like alcohol and treat it as such, you don't consume alcohol in public. It's it's a crime to consume it behind the wheel or beyond the influence while you're driving. I think if we treat it in a lot of ways in those same parallels, I think that's going to help kind of clarify things in a lot of ways.
Well, absolutely, and I don't know what kind of power the city has to monitor certain things like that, but that's what we're going to find out on Thursday night.
And that's coming up this Thursday night. It's going to be 5:30 to 7:30, and that's going to be over at the Archive Building there at the Historical Society, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
201, I think it is, North Lee.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, and it's free.
Absolutely.
So we just want people to come out, and even though with the Republican women, our goal is we're doing an issue-based event. So we just want people to come out and have discussions with us.
Okay.
And like I said, the first portion is question. The second portion, there's a small portion for independent questions. But we have a pretty good list, I think, of all, sides of the four guest speakers. But there's a lot that I guess needs to be worked out. Sure.
There's a lot that we don't know as far as like from the legal standpoint of things. There's a lot that, how are things going to work as far as like, the growing side and then the legislative side or the legal side, are they going to come together and be able to work together? Traditionally speaking, they've always been at odds with each other. And so it's kind of going to be interesting to see that those two groups kind of coming together and working together for the greater good.
Well, yes, and there's been an element. A lot of the governor's words were regarding, basically bringing in an industry and maintaining public safety.
Right.
Well, so I'm curious. What is the law enforcement? Are they going to be trained? How are they going to be trained? And that's, of course, a question we're going to be asking the sheriff. Any additional training, or what can we expect? Are they going to be ready for this? And so Not that I'm expecting anything big and rowdy, and not that I really have. Actually, I hardly think about cannabis.
Sure.
But yeah. But it is something that we know is going to be a change to our community. It's the possibility. We have a good community.
Yeah.
And so I think just the reason we have a good community is because we're educated on topics. We're aware of things. We have a group of leaders that actually speaks to us. And so, I think we just need to maintain that.
It's one of those kind of it's the beast that we don't know kind of is why it's such a thing. It's so much so worrisome, so to speak. But I feel like once things kind of settle down a little bit and we kind of like understand that how things work, I think it'll sort of level out. And the other thing is, I feel like from the side of the growers, the producers, the retail spaces, they're going to want to approach this from that positive light of, we want to put our best foot forward. I feel like everybody's going to want to try to put their best foot forward. And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to help us the most as far as making it work together, so to speak. And I'm also looking at a lot of the positives too. I feel like that the tourism is definitely going to help that. We're going to see a boom in revenue. On as far as that goes. So you take the negatives and the positives, and I think that it'll all work out for the greater good. But I think this roundtable is a great start to kind of get our heads on straight, so to speak. Figure out where we're at, I guess. So that's this Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30.
Right.
And that's going to be at the archive building there at the Historical Society, correct?
Correct.
Now, if folks want more information about the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, how do they go back and hold you guys?
They can get on our website or on our Facebook page, which is the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. That has most of our information, our meetings. We meet once a month, the third Wednesday of the month, and we have speakers every month. But this event was kind of Christina's brainchild. She wanted to do, our normal monthly meetings are about an hour, and we can't oftentimes, that's a very short time to get a lot of information in from our speakers. So Christina thought, perhaps this roundtable, this quarterly roundtable would be good to get more information out, allow people to interact more with speakers or people that we bring in to educate us. And so anyway, we meet once a month, and we really try to bring relevant and educational speakers in, just to make sure that we are educating our membership. We're getting the best information to make our decisions at the ballot and otherwise. So, like I said, we meet once a month. This is a new thing that we've started, and so we really try to be active in our community according to our bylaws. So we do what we can to help Chaves County.
And I like that you're, like you mentioned, you're utilizing the time that you're given. If it's only an hour, in this case, a couple hours, you're filling that time with really good information, with really good speakers, and the way that you're approaching it from, as I'm looking at the list of speakers, from all different aspects, from the business side, from the legal side, and from the parent side of things. There's going to be people with a lot of questions there, and I feel like the group that we have here is going to be educated enough they can answer pretty much all the questions that'll be there.
Yeah, it's not opinion-based. This is basically just informative. Yeah. And hopefully we're sticking to factual, but you never know.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Just get as much actual factual information out there as we can, and let people make their own decisions.
That's exactly right.
So this Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30, it's going to be at the Archive Building there at the Historical Society, 200 North Lee. Folks want more information. How do they go about getting a hold of you?
You can contact me. My number is 575-317-5640. Or like I said, on our Facebook page, you can message that, and we can get back to you.
Perfect. I will put a link to that over on the 106.5 Roswell Talk FM Facebook page, so folks can get access to it. I want to encourage everybody out there to come on out, get educated. This is going to be it's a brave new world that we're stepping out into, and the best thing you can do is put some knowledge on your brain.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll see you here next time. Appreciate you. 35 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's get a check on some local news.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. 18 people arrested in Eddy County over the weekend for drug-related crimes. According to a post on the sheriff's Facebook page, agents with the Pecos Valley Drug Task Force conducted numerous narcotics investigations that led to the arrests of all of the individuals from June 9th through 11th. The task force teamed up with the Eddy County Sheriff's Office, Artesia, and Carlsbad Police, and the BLM to conduct the roundup. Most of the individuals are being held for either possession of trafficking in the powerful opiate painkiller fentanyl or cocaine. The Chavez County Sheriff is warning all of us about another scam making the rounds. It's a familiar one. A man calls up unsuspecting people claiming to be David Lockhart from the Federal Reserve System in Washington, D.C. He claims that you're under investigation and warrants are being issued for your arrest for fraud. He then demands payment in the form of Green Dot money cards or other gift cards in order to clear your name. Anytime anyone demands payment in the form of a gift card, it's always a scam, always. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
There are two big cryptocurrency stories today. First, the Biden White House is about to double the size of the IRS and will require all cryptocurrency transfers of $10,000 or more be reported for tax purposes. I'm Kim Commando with the other shocker brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Not only is the IRS tracking Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the United States Federal Reserve Bank is developing its own digital dollar. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, America's digital dollar will be backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. The downside? Any transaction you make is instantly known to the government. But very few legal transactions are done with cash, so the government already knows when you buy something. The big question is when all this takes place. The IRS cryptocurrency thing, it's happening now. Look for a digital dollar within a few years. Get more tech news 24/7 at commando.com.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get to where you want to go. For advice on solutions like XPS 13 laptops powered by Intel Evo platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Still running your business on QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software. NetSuite by Oracle is the scalable solution you need to run all your key back-office operations. 93% of surveyed organizations increase visibility and control since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. And NetSuite's offering one-of-a-kind financing. Just head to netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim for special financing.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 38 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's get you up to date on that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The heat continues over the next few days and no rain coming up for a while. We have downslope wind coming off the mountains, sunshine and hot today. Afternoon highs in the upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70 and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 70 degrees currently, or 21 degrees centigrade if you are fancy like that. 61% humidity as of right now. We're looking at winds out of the southeast at about 6 miles an hour with a barometer of about 30.21 inches and a dew point of 56 degrees. Looking at a high of 100 for the high today. Mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear, dropping down to 71 for the overnight low. Winds out of the south 5 to 10. Then more of the same for your Wednesday and beyond. Sunny skies and is going to be hot. 101 for the high for your Wednesday. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 15 miles an hour. Partly cloudy, dropping down to 69 for your Wednesday night. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. And for Thursday, sunny skies, you guessed it, hot. 100 degrees for the high. 5 to 15 mile hour winds out of the south for your Thursday. For Friday, sunny skies 102. Saturday, sunny skies 103. And for your Sunday, sunny skies 107. Looks like we're going to top out there because we're back down to 103 by Monday, but it is Sunday. It's a day for sun. It is to be expected. 20 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let's check in on some business news.
It's time for the Southeastern New Mexico Sports Report. Lots of games on the schedule for today, and for a few of these teams, these are the last games on the schedule. For instance, the Artesia Lady Bulldogs in softball playing at home against Lovington. A doubleheader starts at 5:30. Goddard playing at Portales, also in softball, starts at 4:30. Doubleheader. Last games on the schedule for both Goddard and Artesia. Also the same for Loving. The Lady Falcons in softball, 12-6 overall, playing at Jowl tonight, starts at 6 o'clock. Other games on the slate, you got softball action. Carlsbad at home against Roswell, starts at 5, doubleheader. Dexter against Tucumcari, a doubleheader starts at 4. Baseball, Goddard at Portales, Artesia at Lovington, and NMMI at Tucumcari. And Carlsbad at Roswell, doubleheader starts at 4:30. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at 92.9, The Brand.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander. The top 2 executives at the Lordstown Motors have resigned as problems at the Ohio electric truck startup continue to mount. CEO Steve Burns and Chief Financial Officer Julio Rodriguez stepped down, sending shares already down 40% this year, tumbling 16% at the opening bell. The departures come less than a week after Lordstown cautioned that it may not be in business a year from now. McDonald's has become the latest company to be hit by a data breach after unauthorized activity on its network exposed the personal data of some customers in South Korea and Taiwan. On Wall Street, the Dow fell 85 points to close at 34,393. The Nasdaq rose 104 to 14,174. And the S&P 500 added 7 to 4,255. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
When you need an oil change, but you don't want to sit at the shop all day, call Nazca Quick Lube. They're new to town, and what makes them unique is that they come to you. As your car is parked at work or wherever, they will change the oil and provide a tire rotation and restore your headlights, so you don't have to spend hours sitting at the shop. Call 808-9134. That's 808-9134. Nazca Quick Lube. Let their quality service come to you.
Bob Reed Pest Control is committed to providing the most modern pest control management solutions for homes and businesses. Bob Reed can handle every aspect of pest control, from general insects to trees, shrubs, yard treatments, and commercial weed control. They're the only authorized Centricon termite elimination system operator in southeastern New Mexico. No job is too big or too small. Call Bob Reed Pest Control today. Southeastern New Mexico's pest management professionals, 623-5344, and find them fast in names and numbers.
Pico Propane and Fuels is pleased to join forces with Advanced Energy and Don Davis to serve the Roswell community. For over 25 years, Pico Propane and Fuels has been providing customers with high-quality products and reliable service. Discover the kind of service you deserve. From underground and above-ground tank installations to reliable deliveries of propane for your home or business, Pico Propane and Fuels wants to be your go-to partner. Running out of propane in the middle of a hot shower or while grilling outdoors would not be an ideal situation. Sign up for their free Keep Full program with tank monitoring and never worry about running out of propane again. They also offer convenient cylinder exchange and refills. Call Pico Propane and Fuels today, 575-622-7921 for all your propane needs. That's 575-622-7921, or visit them online at picopropane.com. Pico Propane and Fuels. We sell service.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Did you know you share your birthday with at least 9 million other people in the world? Your birthday isn't feeling so special now, is it? Here's Mike Winters.
Yeah, well, I still get a free scoop from the Baskin-Robbins on my birthday, so suck it. 16 minutes away from 8 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Sean Smalls filling in for Mixmaster Mike Winters. He'll be back inside your radios, gracing us with stories of westward expansion starting hopefully next Monday morning. Hey, real quickly, wanted to remind you that, yes, it is that time of year once again. Time to get ready to grow. Getting close to. The Farmers and Gardeners Market is coming back. to the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. That is going to be happening Saturdays from 7 to 11 a.m. beginning on July the 10th. That's going to be running through October the 9th. All the locally grown fresh fruits and vegetables. And of course, it's all grown from farmers and gardeners right here in our area. You're keeping your money local when you shop local. That puts it right back in our own backyard. You're doing the best good. Now, if you want to get signed up to be a vendor at the Main Street Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market, you can do just that by calling Miss Peggy at 208-8238. That's 208-8238. Speaking of exciting events coming up in July, we just got to get through the heat wave of June. Then we're getting into the fun season. It's festival season, and it all kicks off with Alien Fest 2021. It's all going down July 1st through the 3rd all over downtown Roswell. They're going to have all sorts of great stuff happening. It's going to be pretty much centered right there at the Convention and Civic Center and the parking lot in front of De Bremen. But they're going to have all kinds of great stuff. Scavenger hunts, costume contests, entertainment, crafts. They're going to have a whole day of concerts on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. It's going to be a blast. Now, if you want to be a part of any of the festivities, if you want to be a vendor at Alien Fest 2021, you can get signed up by heading to UFOFestivalRoswell.com. That's UFOFestivalRoswell.com. Once that happens, well, then we're gearing up for festival season, because then we got Chili Cheese Fest right around the corner, and I mean, fair's coming. It's just nonstop. It just go, go, go. I mean, I don't know, man. We're coming off of an insanely busy season anyways with sports, now that we're wrapping up sports.
Yep.
I actually had a conversation with young Tanner a couple days ago. He said, I just can't wait for it to be over. I just want it to end. And I think that a lot of athletes kind of feel like that. You know, it's like they're out there playing a sport that they would usually play in like 90-degree weather.
You're supposed to be enjoying this.
107-degree weather. Yeah, it's not fun. But they're making it through. And I guess last games today, and officially wraps up on Friday, I think. And then we get into the playoffs.
Yep.
So we're still not done.
No. We're right around the corner.
We are. You know, let's talk about some myths. There's a lot of things that a lot of things out there that you've probably heard over the course of your life that you've probably been led to believe, I would assume. Things like when you boil, like let's say, for example, if you're making pasta, if you're boiling water, do you add salt to your water?
Yes.
They say it makes it boil faster, right? If you put a little salt in your water, it's supposed to make it boil faster.
It lowers the boiling point.
That's actually where they got you. It's wrong. It is actually not good to add salt to your water. It actually does not make it boil faster. In fact, the way to make your water boil faster, put a lid on it. Salt actually slows down the boiling process.
Why?
It increases the level of the boiling point, basically, for
water. Who got that wrong?
That's just something we've believed for years. So with that in mind, here are a few more myths that you probably still believe. Ooh. You ever heard the myth that goldfish have 3 second memory?
Yeah.
Basically, Dory from Finding Nemo. Yeah, that's not true. Studies actually shown, and apparently they do studies on goldfish, but apparently studies have actually shown that goldfish can remember things for months at a time. Months at a time.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say, well, did you know that a goldfish is not gold?
Well, it's actually true. They're off,
made of gold.
Off yellow. They're gold plated is what it is. It's the way they save money. It's gold plated.
Continue. I want to hear more.
It's just tin inside. If you drop a penny from the top of the Empire State Building, you ever heard that you could kill somebody with it?
I think it would really hurt.
It would probably hurt if you could hit somebody square in the face with it, but wouldn't be enough to kill somebody. Turns out it's too light and also doesn't have enough mass to actually take somebody out.
But a lead weight, sure.
But I like to dream. You know, I like to believe. And I'd also like to believe that you can go. There's a possibility of going to the top of the Empire State Building and finding an open window. That's probably never going to happen.
Unless you're rich or something.
You ever been to a bullfight or watched a bullfight?
No.
No?
No.
Not like in like you know of
I know
bullfighting.
of it, yes.
Okay. So the matador's standing out there and he's waving his cape.
Olé.
The cape is
red.
You know, they say that the color red sends bulls into a rage.
No.
It turns out bulls are colorblind. Did you know that? Bulls
so
don't
they're just
see
mad
red.
that they're getting fought?
Yeah, they're just angry that some dude in whatever culotte pants he's wearing is, waving a colorless flag in front of him, mocking him. They actually use the red to hide the blood stains.
Oh, yeah.
The more you know. You know how they say when you get stung by a jellyfish that you should pee on it?
No, you shouldn't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Not only does it make your wound smell like pee, it also turns out it can actually make the sting worse. the thing is, it's the thing you have the most access to that has ammonia in it. So you think, well, it's going to heal, but it's not.
Well, I mean, that's like peeing on an open wound.
Yeah, it's basically just salting it, essentially.
It's going to hurt.
Vinegar or rubbing alcohol, what you should add to a jellyfish sting to help take out some of that sting. Just a little advice for you. And finally, and this is the biggest one for a day like today, because I guarantee there's going to be a mom out there that says, hold on, don't you dare go get in the pool or the lake or the other body of water until you've at least had 30 minutes after you've eaten. You let that food digest or you're going to get a cramp.
You get cramp at any point?
Yeah, you're going to cramp up if you go into water 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes after you eat. Yeah, that's all nonsense, turns out. Here's the thing. It didn't come out of nowhere, though. Doctors used to think that a lot of blood had to be diverted to the gut to actually help with digestion.
Yeah.
That like we had to use the blood to kind of help with digestion. But now we know that's not the case. So that blood is free to move about the body wherever it's needed. And you don't really have to worry about it. So you can enjoy yourself a foot long sandwich in the pool if you want to. And if mom says, don't do it, knock it off, tell mom, hey, I got science on my side.
I'm hungry.
The guy
in the pool.
The guy on the morning show told me it's okay. So there you go. Get your fill.
I've actually had a cramp in the pool before after
Have
eating.
you really?
Yes.
Now, I've actually never had a cramp before, to my knowledge.
That's why it's odd that it's like, I think this has actually happened to people, and I think they just correlated it instead of it being the cause of it.
It's kind of like how MSG got a bad rap just because a couple of people got intestinal distress. Yeah. MSG, by the way, not as bad as it's made out to be. It's quite fantastic, and it's great to reduce your sodium intake also.
Is it really addictive?
Oh, it's incredibly addictive. I'm a fan. I actually keep some in my cabinet. I cook. I'm one of those weird guys that actually cooks with MSG.
Opens your cabinet, sees like tons of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but it's mostly MSG. That and like Dino Nuggets. I have an inordinate amount of Dino Nuggets in my house because when I have the kids, I go and I get a bag of Dino Nuggets and a bag of curly fries as like my backup dinner. We only ever use like half the bag of the Dino Nuggets though, so I have like 16 half bags of Dino Nuggets just in my freezer right now. I never think to like use the half bags. One of these days, though,
you're going to have a Dino Nugget smorgasbord.
That's right, a Dino Nugget fiesta. It's going to get big. Hey, are you a blood donor?
No.
You really should be. Because you know what? We are in a severe need right now here in southeastern New Mexico. In fact, blood supplies are at an all-time low in Chavez, Eddy, and Lincoln counties. So we want to encourage everybody out there within the sound of our voice, please make your donations. We could absolutely use that sweet, sweet vein gravy. The next donation that you can make is coming up actually today at the Vitalant office there at number 3 Grand Avenue Plaza. They're going to be doing that inside the building from 11:30 to 3 p.m. And you get a free t-shirt with your donation. So make your way over to the Vitalant office there at number 3 Grand Avenue Plaza today from 11:30 to 3 and make your donation. Now, if you can't make it to the Vitalant office today, they are going to be at the foyer of Grace Community Church there from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. this Thursday. That's going to be right there in front of the church there, Grace Community Church, from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. again at 900 West Mescalero. 900 West Mescalero. I had to think about it there for a second. So that's going to be happening this Thursday. And once again, if you can't make it to that, Pioneer Bank at the community room, they're going to be there from next Tuesday from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Once again, all those events, you're going to have your chance to get yourself a free t-shirt with your donation. We do encourage you to call or text in advance to let them know that you're coming, because if they're full up, well, they're not going to be able to take you. I mean, it's as simple as that. They're not taking walk-ins once they have all of their bays filled up. So call or text Stephanie at 840-8178 with any questions you have, or to schedule your appointment. That's Stephanie at 840-8178. Now, all donors are asked to wear a face mask or cloth-based face covering in order to donate. Yes, even if you're vaxxed, we need you to make sure you're covered, because we don't know that for sure. So there you go. All right. Speaking of baseball season, because we're wrapping up the high school season. Kids are finally going to get to start their summertime, which I'm sure they're stupid excited about that. But we're gearing up for Invaders season. That's right. The Roswell Invaders are invading Joe Bauman Stadium throughout the summertime season, and they want to encourage their young fans to read with the Invaders. That's right. Read with the Invaders night. That's going to be happening Wednesday, June 16th. That is tomorrow, actually, as well as Friday, July 9th, and Thursday, July 22nd. What they're saying is bring a book to read to an invader or have an invader read to you to enjoy a wiffle ball game and a hot dog lunch afterwards. $20 to get you in, and you'll be reading with the invaders. And if you like that, well, how about youth baseball camp? If you got a little slugger in your, in the back bedroom that maybe has aspirations for something bigger, well, get them enrolled in Invaders Youth Baseball Camp. It's open to ages 6 to 17. Now, players should come fully dressed in a baseball uniform with their own hat and their own glove. But this is going to be a great chance to learn them fundamentals and learn them from some of the experts of a actual MLB farm team. $35 admission to the camp, and you get a free camp t-shirt. By the way, payments must be made that day of. Cash, check, credit card. If you want more information, head to RoswellInvaders.com. That's RoswellInvaders.com. All right, so Tanner, you got your big trip out early in the summertime season. Do you have any other big vacation plans this summer?
Not right now. That was the one to get out of here for a little while.
That was the big one?
I didn't mention the other place we went to that was interesting.
Where's that?
We got to see the Christ of the Ozarks.
Did you really? I've
Yes.
actually been there.
It's cool.
It's amazing.
It's weirder than I thought it would be.
I watched a passion play actually there.
You actually watched the play?
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the play.
It was amazing. It's really cool.
It looks like it's one of those plays that lasts all day.
Well, it's
like it's an event.
It's the passion. So yeah, it's basically a summarized telling of
like
it.
they were all dressed up. It was like a Renaissance fair, but for the Bible.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's a cool spot. And if you ever, if for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's basically the Christ statue from Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, but they built their own.
Yeah,
it's more square and blocky, but it's really cool.
But it has its own unique charm, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I used to live. I used to live in Oklahoma, and we went to this place called Falls Creek. It was a Christian camp there in Oklahoma, and we took a trip one summer to Arkansas and got to see the Christ of the Ozarks. It was just such a cool experience.
See, okay, I gotta explain something a little bit because my expectations were a little higher than I thought they'd be. So we're driving up to it, and it just looks like we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're in like a community that doesn't have a lot of amenities or gas stations or whatever.
Sure.
Like they take care of themselves. They're on their own. And, I'm expecting to go, like, it's kind of like how Rio de Janeiro actually is, where it's at the very top of the mountain or whatever. And it's deep. It's got a shrine and everything. We pull up over the hill and there's a Walmart and a McDonald's. That kind of bothered me.
It'll dash your.
And then when we actually get in there, it's a little bit more of kind of a touristy location.
And that's the thing is a lot of that has kind of been built up around the statue itself, and so there's a lot of
the area was still
souvenir
beautiful
stuff.
though,
gorgeous, super green. I mean, and you went at a great time of year too, right? That late spring, early summer when everything is still super lush and kind of wet. Yeah, it's a good time.
It was foggy. Everything was nice.
Yeah. So did you guys actually go through all the Ozark mountains and all that, or?
Yeah, I think we were.
Did you guys do the hot springs?
Going all the way through back there? No, we didn't.
Oh, that's a blast too. That's another fun one. Hot springs. There's another.
I'd love to go to a hot springs.
It's been a minute. I've been to that one, and then there's one in Truth or Consequences. It's actually they have the bathhouses set up, which is interesting because I was with a church youth group, and to say that I was going with my friends at the youth group to the
must have been
bathhouses.
so much fun.
It was interesting. That's where you find out about communal baths. That's where you find out that there's several nude people just kind of kicking it in a bath together.
Talk about God in the bath.
Oh no, we stayed fully clothed. Trust me. But the good news is some of those bathhouses have the individual
baths.
So we each got our individual bath.
That's a weird place to evangelize.
It is.
Whose idea was that?
Well, it was a mission trip.
Let's take the kids to the bathhouse.
Or that was actually just our church retreat. That was waterfront camp because we used to go to. We had a wrap here in a second. We used to go to.
Were you guys adults?
Yeah, teenagers. We used to go to Elephant Butte and camp out there, and that was just one of the Truth or Consequences right next to Elephant Butte, so we made use of the hot springs. Wrapping up this hour, going to be heading into next hour. Coming up next hour, going to be sitting down chatting with Miss Donna Audición from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Not sure why I said it like that. Eastern New Mexico. But we'll be doing that coming up next hour. You are listening to 106.5 KEND, Roswell's Talk FM. Stay tuned.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It is not hard to overspend on groceries these days. A soaring cost of food leading the way as wholesale prices rose a sharp 0.8% last month.
It's another indication that inflation pressures are rising since the economy has begun to reopen following the pandemic lockdowns. The Labor Department says the monthly gain in its producer price index followed a 0.6% increase in April and a 1% advance in March. Food prices rose a hefty 2.6%, while energy costs were up 2.2%.
Correspondent Jeremy House says wholesale prices up 6.6% over the past year. What began as an argument in a house on Chicago's South Side ended with gunfire early this morning, leaving 4 people dead, 4 others wounded, with 2 of them shot in the back of the head. There have been no arrests. President Biden preparing for his meeting tomorrow with a man he once called a killer. Mr. Biden will be sitting down with Russian President Putin.
At the conclusion of the NATO summit, the president said that world leaders
thanked me for meeting with Putin now.
He said he's not looking for conflict with Putin.
There are areas where we can't cooperate if he chooses.
But he also said the U.S. will respond if Russia continues its harmful activities. Greg Clugston, Washington.
It's another day of intense heat across the west, dangerously hot from the southwest into the northern plains and the Rockies. They say it could burn for several more days. Massive chemical plant fire in Rockton, Illinois. Areas around the plant have been evacuated as authorities allow the fire to burn itself out rather than risk washing the chemicals into a nearby river. Stocks in the red on Wall Street. The Dow down 104 points. The S&P is off 5. And the NASDAQ Composite Index trading 30 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I have a traumatizing childhood memory of an Easter egg hunt. The big hunt was a big deal in our family, and I have this memory of running and excitedly reaching for eggs, only to have my big brother and sister sweep in and steal them at the last second. It's Ryan, and unfortunately, this is a traumatizing reality our Faith and Family Mortgage team is seeing from families across the country. Families are finding their dream home, only to have it pulled away by another hunter at the last second. At United Faith Mortgage, we unfortunately cannot scare off the other hunters, but we can very quickly get you pre-approved and make it look as good as possible to sellers. And then, once you do grab that Easter egg,
see our story and read how our direct lender advantage can often save your family monthly and lifelong money at UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Live Rec NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
At least 4 public health workers, they had been immunizing youngsters against polio in eastern Afghanistan, have been killed in 2 separate attacks by unidentified gunmen.
Afghanistan launched a nationwide polio vaccination program earlier this year, aiming to inoculate around 10 million children under 5 years of age. The program in Nangarhar province was suspended following a similar attack in March when gunmen killed 3 female vaccinators. The vaccination drive resumed only on Monday.
That's BBC's Barasan Etharajan. The Prime Ministers of Britain and Australia are expected today to confirm the broad outlines of a free trade deal following their talks in London. The agreement is the first that Britain has negotiated from scratch since it left the European Union. Earlier deals with countries including Japan were built on existing agreements struck by the EU. News and analysis at townhall.com. First-term Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds, who is seeking membership to the Congressional Black Caucus, advocated his own case, saying that his conservative point of view could be beneficial to the influential group.
The Florida congressman is one of 2 black Republicans in the House. Congressman Burgess Owens of Utah, who was also in his first term, is the other. Unlike Owens, who made it clear that he had no intention of trying to gain membership into the Congressional Black Caucus, Donalds reached out about membership soon after arriving in Washington. However, last week, an anonymous source told BuzzFeed that the CBC was blocking Donalds' caucus membership. During an interview with CNN, Donalds was asked if his views, including his ardent support of former President Trump, put him at irreconcilable odds with the CDC's goals. He answered they should not. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
With 80% of its population fully vaccinated against COVID-19, Vermont has lifted all of its remaining coronavirus restrictions. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. It on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. So they go guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce
of Mornings Without Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Good Tuesday morning to you. That's right, Mixmaster Mike Winters still off on his westward adventure. From what I gathered, he's boarding the train today, or I think the train to take them into the canyon is what I can gather, because I think that then they're going to stay at the, like you said, the Harvey House. That's like the only remaining actual running hotel Harvey House in the country, I'm pretty sure. So there's that historical significance. And then going to spend some time there doing their thing, and then I guess the train ride back out, complete with the train robbery experience, which will be kind of interesting. I'm not sure if they're allowed to take pictures. I would imagine, if you're there for the experience.
During the robbery?
Yeah. But like one would think, if you're sitting there with your phone, is that going to be an anachronism? Like, are they going to call you out? Whoa, what, hey there, boy. What you doing with that magic? What is that magic box you got in your hand there, boy?
Maybe.
What's that thing do? Is that thing taking a picture? Is that thing taking magic? Is that painting my face?
Or you just get shot.
Yeah, or you just get, yeah. And that's the thing, blanks, you don't mess around with blanks, man. They killed a man.
Yeah.
You familiar with what's his name? Doggone it. The guy who played the Crow. In the movie The Crow. Brandon Lee, thank you. Yeah, he was actually killed by an errant blank. It went off, and the shrapnel from the blank actually, I think, punctured his abdomen or something. He bled out, but yeah. So blanks ain't no, don't be messing around. So hopefully, we're not dealing with like point blank range or anything. But
nah, I'm sure they'll have pops.
I like to think that Mike can, maybe sneak a couple of pictures, just to grab one. He's good with his, clandestine camera work.
It depends on what they're like. Are they actually going to rob the customers?
I'm pretty sure they're not going to actually.
They're acting.
Yeah, they're not going to take their stuff.
Or they're looking for something that's on the train. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they're going to have.
We're going to get this cargo.
They're probably going to have like a bag of cash, like one of those like burlap bags with like a $sign written on it.
Does the government happen to be transporting money on the same train as other people?
This is how they get it. How they get it through. That's actually kind of an interesting prospect. Yeah, we're actually laundering money through acronyms, basically.
Well, that's how you do it.
It is. Ooh. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna check out some weather, and then we're gonna put Tanner to the test. Let's take a look at this at 9 minutes. Not going to make you run them. I'm going to chew up the clock a little bit. 9 minutes after 8 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Let's take a look at that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The heat continues over the next few days and no rain coming up for a while. We have downslope wind coming off the mountains, sunshine and hot today. Afternoon highs in the upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70 and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 74 degrees around Roswell Way. Humidity 56%. Wind's going to be out of the southeast at about 7 miles an hour. The barometer at about 30.22 inches with a dew point of 57 degrees. Looking at a high of around 100 for today under mostly sunny skies. Winds southeast 5 to 15 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly clear, dropping down to 71 for the overnight low with winds out of the south from 5 to 10 once again. Sunny and hot, 101 for your Wednesday. Pretty much more the same throughout the rest of the week. 102 for your 101 for Friday, 102 for Friday. Wow. 103 for Saturday, 107 for Sunday. Words confuse me sometimes. Actually, part of me is trying to rush through that so I can get you to your live read because I'm anticipating another phone call coming soon. I don't want to interrupt you. But with that in mind, let's talk about vacuums.
Yes. Do you know that when you need a vacuum cleaner, you need a store that really sucks?
You know, I've heard that you need somebody that's educated on all things sucking.
I do know a guy.
All right, tell me more.
It's Steve.
Oh.
At Vacuums Plus near the corner of South Main and Poe.
All right. Tell me about Steve.
Well, Steve has the new top-of-the-line vacuum cleaners that really suck.
Do they?
And they have used vacuum cleaners as low as $15 that suck too. Plus all the bags and belts to fit just about every vacuum that's ever been made.
Boom, look at that. You got your obscure European vacuums, and this thing only takes it's all metric. Oh, he got you covered.
Here's the thing. Steve also services those vacuums.
Does he really?
Yeah.
He services
all kinds
the
of vacuums.
Wow.
So if it's broken, he can fix it.
One could argue that Steve wants customers to come in with their broken vacuums so he could fix them. So one could argue that Steve is desperately seeking suction.
I like how the bell didn't work.
It didn't work that time.
That was great.
Even it failed. Even it's like, no, Sean, no.
But of course, when you think of vacuum cleaners,
and I do a lot,
think of Vacuums Plus. Right across from Andrew's Donuts on South Main.
How come?
Because vacuums really suck.
There it is. It was great. We got it all in. 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. Going to pause here in just a few minutes. And hopefully haven't heard from our guest, but theoretically, we got Ms. Donna Oracion from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, going to be joining us here in the next few minutes. Going to be chatting all about their 3-day Beat the Heat registration event that's happening now through Thursday. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk about the summertime and fall season semesters at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and a whole lot more. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. You are listening to A Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Are you looking for a new church home? Tabernacle Baptist Church in Roswell personally invites you to any one of their 4 services, with 3 on Sunday and 1 on Wednesday. Services are Sunday at 10 and 11 in the morning and 6 in the evening. On Wednesday evening, service is at 7. Tabernacle Baptist Church is across from De Brenham Stadium in Roswell. The family at Tabernacle Baptist Church would love to have your family join them as they celebrate God. Come and grow together.
As the school year comes to an end and COVID restrictions start to ease, don't lose sight of the lessons learned. Cover your cough, positive personal hygiene, respect one another, show and tell others you love them. Fiscal and social responsibility are great ways to show your love. This is Damon Graham, your local New York Life agent. I can help you show your love to others. Call me at 575-623-0803 so we can determine how you best can show your love. Expect to be blessed.
Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. There are 293 ways to make change for $1. Try all 293 on the guy who keeps borrowing money from you. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. Still no word from Mrs. Donna. We'll wait around for a few more minutes, and hopefully she'll grace us with her presence. We'll chat about Eastern New Mexico University Roswell, if not, and kind of get you all informed about the upcoming summer and fall semesters at Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Hey, the free summer lunch program is underway. That's right. The free summer lunch program is happening. Now, you can get your free summer lunches at lots of locations. The grab and go is at RHS, Goddard, or Berrindo Elementary from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Now, that's going to be running through July 23rd, Monday through Friday. They're basically, you get breakfast and lunch all in one as a grab and go. Now, if you're in the Dexter area, they do have Dexter grab and go free lunch locations, including the Dexter High School grab and go. That's there at 100 North Lincoln from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's for free lunch there. At the Midway Assembly of God Church there at 63 Yakima Road in Midway, they're going to have that breakfast lunch combo from 11 to noon. And then at the Midway Volunteer Fire Department at 6477 Templeton Road, they're going to have the breakfast lunch combo there from noon to 1. So if you are in need of the free summer lunch program, it is there for you. Make sure to pick up your free summer lunches, again, in Roswell, the Roswell High, Goddard, or Berrindo Elementary locations from 8 a.m. to noon, now through July 23rd. You know, I've been kind of toying with what I'm going to do this summertime season, because I've gotten the obligatory family trip out of the way. You know, I had to go see family, get, post-Rona, make sure everybody's still healthy.
Y'all live?
I think now I need to take a me vacation. And I've been kind of looking at some different spots. Vegas is one. Salt Lake City's really calling my name. Ooh, I think that might be Donna. Yeah, Salt Lake City's really calling my name for a number of different reasons. It's beautiful up there. I would love to go see the actual Salt Lake itself. And then you can actually go, I believe it's canoeing down a salt river. It's basically a carved out river of salt water in the salt flats there, just north of I think Salt Lake City, and just some of the pictures I've seen coming off of that that trip is just an amazing excursion. People just canoeing through the most crystal blue waters you've ever seen in the entirety of your life, and just looks absolutely beautiful. So that's one that's sort of on my list. I've toyed with the idea of going to Vegas, just the kind of the Meow Wolf thing. I'm not really a gambler, so it's kind of a hard sell. Now, I will say this. It's gotten a lot more appealing since, I'm not necessarily in a marriage situation anymore. Now that I'm single, looking to mingle, maybe there's some opportunities in the Las Vegas area. If that TV show has shown me anything, there's plenty of opportunities out there. We're going to pause for just a quick moment, take a listen to some local news, and then on the other side of this, we'll hopefully be sitting down with Miss Donna Oracion from Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Stay tuned on another Morning Without Mike Winters.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. 18 people arrested in Eddy County over the weekend for drug-related crimes. According to a post on the sheriff's Facebook page, agents with the Pecos Valley Drug Task Force conducted numerous narcotics investigations that led to the arrests of all of the individuals from June 9th through 11th. The task force teamed up with the Eddy County Sheriff's Office, Artesia, and Carlsbad Police, and the BLM to conduct the roundup. Most of the individuals are being held for either possession of trafficking in the powerful opiate painkiller fentanyl or cocaine. The Chavez County Sheriff is warning all of us about another scam making the rounds. It's a familiar one. A man calls up unsuspecting people claiming to be David Lockhart from the Federal Reserve System in Washington, D.C. He claims that you're under investigation and warrants are being issued for your arrest for fraud. He then demands payment in the form of Green Dot money cards or other gift cards in order to clear your name. Anytime anyone demands payment in the form of a gift card, it's always a scam, always. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins. They instead decided to go with coin-shaped donuts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 19 minutes after 8 o'clock. I'm going to be joined here in the next few minutes by Miss Donna Oracion from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. I want to remind you that if you miss any portion of the program today or yesterday, any of our programming, you can always listen to it in its entirety there at ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you can take a look at our shows in their entirety. And of course, the hardest working man in morning radio, Mr. Tanner himself, he's going to be clipping those interviews up piecemeal as he can, because he's got a lot on his plate right now. But as he can, he'll get them up for you over on the 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook page. So if you missed any portion of the programming, by all means, head over to ksvptv.com and there you can find the show in its entirety. And joining us in studio this morning from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and in studio for the first time in a real long time, Miss Donna Adacion. How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, doing great, doing good. It's good. It's nice to actually see you face to face.
I know. I thought I'll brave it and come in. It's only been a year and a half or however long.
Now this has been kind of the going thing for you guys, because even when things were opening back up, you guys had a different set of protocols that you had to follow.
Right. Well, we do follow the state protocols, but we follow a higher education department, and so we really wanted to make sure that we, err on with an abundance of caution, as they say. But we're slowly coming back. We've got visitors and guests on campus now. Sure. We do still have majority of our classes online, but we do have, as we've had all the way through, some classes that just have to meet face to face, and that's in smaller numbers. And
that's the thing with a lot of those, with the practicums, with a lot of the nursing stuff. You kind of have to have that hands on. You can't.
There's just no substitute for it.
You could take a scalpel to a cantaloupe, but it's only going to go so far. You know?
Yeah. So we've been in our tech ed and health programs continuing that training with as little interruption as possible. So we're really excited to do welcoming students back, with some of the restrictions relaxed. So we're really looking forward to some more normalcy, everyone else.
It's going to be nice to kind of get back to just the normal college experience. My college experience was at Eastern, and just walking the campus, going to the bookstore, talking to folks, and rubbing elbows with people, grabbing lunch, whatever. Just those simple college life experiences that the last year and a half have been just completely robbed from us.
Right, and we know now not to take it for granted, because
Absolutely.
I think we all did, and the things that we just thought was just normal life that was suspended for a while, and so even our staff has, been kind of remote working and out of touch, and so we've missed that kind of interactions among even our staff. So
I thought of it the other day. I'm on the board of directors for Tabosa, and I literally about 2 weeks ago met the rest of the board for the first time. I've been on the board for like 6 months now, and it's just for the first time I'm actually meeting these people that I've had full-blown conversations with.
Yes.
It's very off-putting, but this is where we find ourselves. And now we're getting back to normal. We're gearing up for summertime. Summer semester is already underway.
Yes, it is.
And fall time semester is fast approaching.
Right. It's hard to believe, time is just zooming by. So we're preparing for fall, as you said. Our summer session is underway. It began 1st of June, so just about a little week ago. Yeah. Week and a half out.
And the summertime is an abbreviated session. It's things are kind of they come a little faster.
Yes, and so we have a smaller enrollment in summer, and some of our faculty don't work during the summer, so it's a smaller group. So it's a good way to kind of transition into a fully functioning, fully operational fall, which is what we're hoping for.
And I think that we can achieve that fully functional operational
we
fall.
Hope so.
and this event that you guys are running these next few days, that's a great start.
It is. We just thought we'd give students a little more incentive to register. So we're doing a 3-day registration event for fall. So we're going to be open from 10 to 6 in our Student Services Center. It's today, Wednesday and Thursday, June 15th through 17th.
Okay.
And so every student that registers will get a free snow cone. We're calling it Beat the Heat. So obviously we are in the heat of summer.
Boy, are we ever.
A free snow cone and a $20 bookstore gift card. So
nice.
Just a little incentive, and we'll have all of our staff available. We'll also have some of our programs, some of our student organizations available, so you can kind of see what E&MU Roswell is all about, get a feel for the campus if you've never been out there. It's been a while since you've been out to the campus. Again, not everything is, fully up to speed, but you'll see just kind of the layout and where buildings are and what programs are available. So it's a good time to register, talk to an instructor, an advisor, and also, talk about financial aid if you want to talk to a financial aid advisor as well. So just a great time to, if you've been putting it off or you want to just, get it done, get ready for fall, and enjoy the rest of your summer, then this is a great time to do it.
It is. And, a lot of people, I've talked to so many people that have looked at the Rona as an opportunity to change their lives, to kind of change their careers.
Sure,
They've been
makes
stuck
you reassess.
they've been stuck in a rut. They've been doing the same thing for years and years and not going anywhere, spinning their wheels. So, maybe they were furloughed, maybe they were laid off, and they said, okay, I'm going to go back and do what I want to do. And this is a great chance to do that. Maybe you don't know where you're going to start. You just know you want to do something else.
Yes.
Go talk to an advisor. They're a great resource for pointing you in the right direction.
Right. And whether you have some classes completed or some under your belt, and you've never been to college before and don't know where to start, again, our advisors can help you out. Just maybe take a class or two. We have career assessments, so they can kind of just talk to you, and we have different measurements. You can decide where your skill set lies, what things you like to do, if you like to work with your hands, if you like to work outside, if you like to, crunch numbers, if you like to be with people, if you like healthcare, if you like, just science. So there's a lot of different options for you at UNMU Roswell that, you can take. You don't have to go for an associate degree. You can go for a certificate, which is a shorter term if you don't want to make that time commitment. And it is a commitment. It's asking a lot. It's making a life-changing decision. So we do understand that, but we can help ease you through that. And college is for everybody.
It is. I actually have my own advising story to share. Actually, when I was going, because I was undeclared, didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I was thinking, something in entertainment. But I sat down and talked to an advisor, and through talking to an advisor, they said, you're a fun person to be around. You really enjoy working with kids. Have you ever thought about early childhood education? And that became my, my degree plan was early childhood education. I actually did the practicums out at the, out there at the Childhood Development Center.
Yep.
And, and obviously worked out great because I'm here in radio. That early childhood, education worked out. But the point is, it pointed me in a direction based on what I was, who I am, what I'm into, what I'm interested in.
Right.
And that's a great thing for you. If maybe you work well with your hands. You're maybe something in the in the engineering field or something along those lines. If maybe you're thinking something along the lines of film or digital editing, animation. I mean, there's fantastic programs out at Eastern. It's a great place to start.
There are, and so we're open for any student. You just have to be a high school graduate or a GED recipient. We can also help you get your GED if you don't have that. So again, we just want to encourage people to just not stop learning and not think that college isn't for them or they're not college material, because we have such a diverse range of students on our campus. It really is amazing. Everything from early college, high school to students with disabilities to we have youth challenge. We have students right out of high school. We have the top 10% of high school students on our campus as well with our presidential scholarship program. So just a wide range of ages and everything that you can imagine. So we really want to make sure that people know that we're here for them. And this Beat the Heat event is a great way to just kind of get a great introduction to the campus. You get a few perks, a few giveaways as well while you're there. So we're really hoping to have a good crowd of people out the next 3 days.
And one of the things you touched on back there, and this is one thing I love about Eastern, is just that, the diversity of the population out there, of the students, and you all walks of life, all kinds of different folks. And everybody kind of with that one mission, that one goal in mind of being better, doing better, making what was before kind of not great, making something better out of that, molding it. And I really admire the folks who are doing that. And some great programs too that that I think maybe go under the rug a little bit, like the aviation maintenance program out there is one of the best in the state.
It is. It's very unique. It's very cost effective compared to if you compare other aviation maintenance programs in the Southwest or around the country. We are very reasonable. Yeah. And right on the flight line, great training. We have our graduates hired even before they graduate. There's so many companies out there looking for trained mechanics because everybody wants to continue flying, and we need those planes to be, top notch and airworthy and checked. We want to make sure that when you're flying, your plane has been checked out by a certified mechanic. So that's not going away. There's great demand for those jobs. So that's just one of our programs. You mentioned our media arts, animation, film, and graphic design.
I've personally worked I've personally worked with Alan Trevor on several projects, and he's one of the best minds in digital animation and filmmaking. And I mean, he's right there in your back pocket. That's a great resource.
Well, and actually, he has moved on.
Has he really?
He has.
Oh,
yes, I'm sorry to say he's moved.
See,
to
I'm out
another
of touch.
community.
I'm out of touch. But
we have a new instructor, and so she's raring to go. So.
That's case in point of the program that you guys have out there. Is you guys have the best, the brightest, the top of the line that are going to give the students the best education possible.
Right. And every instructor is really committed to students and making themselves available, whether it's through regular office hours or through online chats or email or messages. I know a lot of instructors give students their personal cell phone number so they can contact them at any time. So our students really do have a great relationship with our instructors, and that's something that you don't get at a lot of larger universities.
When your classes are so large, when your professors are talking to basically a stadium of people, it's hard to have that one-on-one time. So
it is, and we know that people are making an investment in themselves, and they want to take that seriously. And we really encourage people to make that investment in themselves because it's going to pay off in the long run. So.
But it all starts with just kind of opening the door to I want something different, I want something better. Go down to the campus, talk to an advisor, and let them point you in the right direction.
Right, and you can still work. We have most of our students that are part-time, so it doesn't mean you can't still earn a paycheck and go to school at the same time. It's very possible, whether you take classes on campus or online. So, again, we encourage people to come out today, tomorrow, and Thursday, June 15th through 17th from 10 to 6, and that will be in our Student Services Center. It's the building right as you come on University Boulevard. It's the big building with
the big new one, right?
With the new one. Still, we considered it new.
Sure.
It's not new, but the large, tall windows, you can't miss it. It says Student Services Center, 56 University Boulevard.
I still call that up north. I still call that the new Walmart, just to put things into perspective. So it doesn't have a mall attached to it, so it's still the new Walmart. That's the new building at Eastern.
We have long memories. So, but again, we just want people to come out and talk to us and get registered for fall. Fall classes do start August 16th, which may seem a little while away, but it really isn't.
Boy, if the way this year's been going, that's coming up.
We're already halfway through the year of 2021, so it's amazing.
And that is tomorrow. So if you're gonna basically start your fall semester, now is the time to get yourself on the right path. Now is definitely the time to start getting your financial aid information filled out, your FAFSA and all that. Get that done as quickly as possible because the resources are there. It's just not going to be there forever.
Right. And you just make a little bit of effort, but we have so many scholarship opportunities available. We just had a new one come in from the American Legion for children of veterans, things like that.
Nice.
So any type of student that you are, I bet there's a scholarship opportunity for you. So not to mention the lottery scholarship and the opportunity scholarship. And we still have money from the federal government for the COVID relief funds.
Yep.
So there's a lot of resources. Our foundation, of course, always funds numerous scholarships each semester for students. So talk to our financial aid advisors while you're out and see what scholarship opportunities are available in addition to the FAFSA because those are things you don't have to pay back. Loans should be your last resort. So there's so many other options available for you.
There are. There's grants. There's loan. The Stafford loan is the one I would recommend because it has a relatively low interest rate. But again, last resort. There's so many other options. Grants, scholarships. You just got to do a little digging.
Yes.
And you've got some great minds that'll help you do that digging there if you go talk to an advisor or a financial aid advisor.
That's right. So we hope to have a good turnout and. If you have any questions, of course, our website is roswell.enmu.edu, or you can call the main number 624-7000, and they'll direct you to the right person.
Very good. Roswell.enmu.edu. And the other thing, by the way, this absolutely needs to be mentioned, air conditioning.
Yes.
Air conditioning.
We have nice, cool buildings.
Just saying, if you guys are looking to beat the heat, that's a great place to do it, and you get hooked up with a snow cone. That sounds like win-win.
Right. So come out if you have kids. Bring your kids with you. That's fine, too. We're ready for everyone.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's happening today through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. there at the main Student Services Center on campus, 56 University Boulevard. You're absolutely encouraged to apply for admission prior to coming out. You can do that by going to roswell.enmu.edu. And if you have any questions, 624-7000 is the main number there to call.
Yes. And if you apply for admission online, it's just one less step you have to do. And it's a really simple application you can do online. But if you don't want to, we can also help you do that on campus
Yeah,
well.
it just steps you in the right direction.
Right.
So that when you go in, you can be like, oh, that's you. Cool.
Right, exactly.
Make the connection. Well, Miss Donna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.
Appreciate having you out here, and welcome back out.
Thanks.
What are you going to do now?
Go back to work.
Oh, you're going to go back under lockdown. Doggone
Right.
it. I figured now that you got this freedom, maybe go to a park and soak up some sun or something,
Well, yeah.
I've been in a room by myself for 16 months.
Well, it's not been that bad.
Thanks again.
We have
Miss.
been out. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
34 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with some weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The heat continues over the next few days and no rain coming up for a while. We have downslope wind coming off the mountains, sunshine and hot today. Afternoon highs in the upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70 and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 35 minutes after 8 o'clock, currently 74 degrees out around Roswell Way. Humidity about 56%. Winds out of the southeast at about 7 miles an hour with the barometer at about 30.22 inches. Dew point at about 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Not really sure what you do with the dew point. 100 degrees for the high today under mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear. Dropping down to 71 for the overnight low tonight with winds out of the south 5 to 10 once again. And pretty much more of the same for the rest of your week ahead. Wednesday, sunny skies, hot once again, 101 for the high today. For your Wednesday night, partly cloudy, low of around 69 degrees. Sunny and hot for your Thursday, 100 degrees for the high, 102 for the high on Friday, 103 for Saturday, and then the dreaded 107 on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher out there. But the good news, there's plenty of ways and opportunities to cool yourself down around southeastern New Mexico. There's, of course, your pools, your different slip and slides that your friends or neighbors might have. And then there's the splash pads. Don't forget about the Burt Murphy Family Splash Pad. It's open to the public. And according to what Mayor Dennis Kintai said yesterday, we should have another one opened up there on Southeast Main in the next month or so. So that's really exciting. But, and I kind of hesitate sending this information out because I don't want to have a riot, but keep this information to yourself. The second Tuesday of every single month throughout the summertime season, the Roswell Recreation and Aquatic Center is opening up the outdoor pool absolutely free. That's right. Now, there's a 200-person capacity there at the pool, there at the Recreation and Aquatic Center. So make your way over there early if you want to be a part of that. But they will let folks in as other folks make their way out of the Aquatic Center. They'll let more families in. Again, a limit of 200 people in the pool, but today it is free of charge there at the Roswell Recreation and Aquatic Center. So if you're looking to get your cool down on, be a great place to do just that. Hey, real quickly, wanted to remind you that as we mentioned earlier, the Roswell Invaders, they've got some great programs happening throughout the summertime season. As we're getting back to the baseball season, we're reading with the Invaders. Coming up tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 16th, they're going to have Read with the Invaders. Now, that's going to be happening. It's actually tomorrow daytime, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. It's your chance to bring a book to read to an invader or have an invader read to you, plus a wiffle ball game and a hot dog lunch. It's only going to set you back $20. That's happening tomorrow, 10 to noon, there at Joe Bauman Stadium. And hey, if you got a youngster who's looking to get there, get back to the diamond, maybe keep their baseball dreams alive, Invaders Youth Baseball Camp is going to be happening. That's happening Monday, June 21st. It's actually, the next one is June 21st, and then you have one on Thursday, July 18th, and Monday, July 19th. That's going to be happening from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. there at Joe Bauman Stadium. It's open to ages 6 to 17. Now, players are encouraged to come fully dressed in a baseball uniform with their own bat and glove. It's going to be necessary equipment if you're going to be taking the field. It's $35 admission per camp day, and you receive a free camp t-shirt. You need to make those payments by the day of the camp. And again, the next camp is Monday, June 21st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you need more information, head to RoswellInvaders.com. That's RoswellInvaders.com. 39 minutes after 8 o'clock. Going to pause and take a listen to some SRN business news. Stay tuned.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander. The top two executives at the Lordstown Motors have resigned as problems at the Ohio electric truck startup continue to mount. CEO Steve Burns and Chief Financial Officer Julio Rodriguez stepped down, sending shares already down 40% this year, tumbling 16% at the opening bell. The departures come less than a week after Lordstown cautioned that it may not be in business a year from now. McDonald's has become the latest company to be hit by a data breach after unauthorized activity on its network exposed the personal data of some customers in South Korea and Taiwan. On Wall Street, the Dow fell 85 points to close at 34,393. The Nasdaq rose 104 to 14,174. And the S&P 500 added 7 to 4,255. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
When you need an oil change, but you don't want to sit at the shop all day, call Nazca Quick Lube. They're new to town, and what makes them unique is that they come to you. As your car is parked at work or wherever, they will change the oil and provide a tire rotation and restore your headlights, so you don't have to spend hours sitting at the shop. Call 808-9134. That's 808-9134. Nazca Quick Lube. Let their quality service come to you.
If you have a student who's ready to further their education, think Eastern New Mexico University first. The state of New Mexico, through the Lottery Scholarship Program, will pay 100% of your student's tuition if you are a New Mexico resident. Don't miss out on this great opportunity to further your student's higher education at the only four-year university on the High Plains. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Explore, experience, excel. Eastern New Mexico University.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you could call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
The temps are high, and so are the savings. The sizzling summer savings event is on now at Roswell Nissan, with the largest pre-owned inventory in the region, and nearly every pre-owned vehicle on the lot marked down $500 to $2,000 or more. Like a certified pre-owned 2020 Pathfinder with $2,500 off. Stop in and spin the wheel for your chance to win AirPods, a smartwatch, or even $500 cash. Put a little sizzle in your summer during the sizzling summer savings event at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
I have a snake for your drain. You might want to step back.
Oh no, baby.
All AC units moke a little. Is normal.
Oh no, baby.
Haha, now your sprinkler system's strong like bull.
Come on now. Don't let any fool work on your plumbing and air conditioning.
Fergalicious.
From clogged drains to sprinkler systems, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating is on the job. And who you gonna call for air filters and spring servicing on your AC unit?
Fergalicious.
Call Fergie's today, 622-2660. Nothing but love.
Fergalicious.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Due to extreme pressure and weather conditions, it literally rains diamonds on Neptune and Uranus. Stop snickering because I said Uranus. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 17 minutes away from 9 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. You know, one of the things they touched on in the news about an hour ago, that I guess IKEA is currently being investigated for opening up. Basically, they were spying on their employees. They basically took employee records, employee information, and were putting that into a database that I guess they could later use for, I don't know, blackmail or something. I'm not sure exactly what they were going to do with the information, but yeah, IKEA collecting tons of data on their employees, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do with it. I assume because it's IKEA that to put it all together, they're going to need an Allen wrench, is my assumption.
Maybe.
Probably. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting story there. So let's talk Father's Day. That's coming up this Sunday. If you're going to draw...
Do you want to spy on your father?
I don't want to spy on my father. No, but one of the most interesting things I heard a couple of days ago made me laugh. Because online advertisers or you know, advertising online, it's very like focused and very like targeted. It's whatever the holiday is that's coming up. Treat mom this Mother's Day to delicious Sherry's berries or whatever. It's like we have to figure out how to sell our product and theme it to the holiday that's coming up. So Father's Day is the holiday that's coming up. Presents an interesting situation when the product that you're trying to sell is Manscaped razors. It was one of the most uncomfortable reads I've ever heard in my entire life. Get dad the gift he really wants this year. Get him clean downstairs with the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. I'm like, this...
Does it look like a lawnmower too?
No,
it's like a little push mower.
No, it looks like a regular clipper, but it made me laugh my keister off. Hearing, get dad, have that awkward conversation. Hey, dad, love you. Maybe I don't know, clean yourself up a little bit.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you know that I don't, Junior? But it presents the idea of what are some odd Father's Day gifts. Did you ever get anything odd for dad for Father's Day?
No.
Was it traditional ties and coffee mugs?
I just got him whatever he wanted or bought him food or something.
Yeah. See, I'm in that weird zone right now of fatherhood where my kids are 7 and 2. I'm gonna get hand-drawn pictures and some cards and stuff at best. I don't think I'm gonna get I don't foresee my son ordering me my new set of Tommy Johns. Probably not gonna happen.
Or an action figure.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or my next new action figure, yeah. But apparently, we ain't the only ones that are thinking obscure Father's Day gifts. Apparently, the Manscaped razor isn't the most obscure gift out there. According to a recent study, they put together a list of the most odd Father's Day gifts that people are Googling, that people are looking for, based on different states. Now, a few states looking for traditional stuff. In Alabama, looking for things like fishing gear. Arkansas, it's cologne. Massachusetts, beer. Beer, gift boxes. Michigan, they're looking for personalized mugs and t-shirts. My home state, Oklahoma. Hot sauce. Rhode Island, you got books. In West Virginia, Birkenstocks. This feels like a real dad sandal. But then you've got the less than traditional gifts. Like in Hawaii, they're Googling cold pressed juicers. Yeah, apparently, getting dad the gift of some cold pressed juice.
We got to get you healthy, Dad.
That's right. You just squeeze a lemon. Indiana, they're looking for flavor infusing water bottles, which that's good. Get dad out of the house, get him working out again. Put a little flavor into his water. I don't know what kind of flavor you put in there.
Hashtag save our dads.
Put a cheese stick in the flavor pouch. Get yourself some cheese flavored water. They're looking for plants in New York for dad, and in New Jersey, random colorful things. Whatever that means. Not sure. As far as the most oddball things, though, their dads in Connecticut, well, they're getting shorts with built-in underwear.
Ooh, wait. Wouldn't you just wear the shorts then?
Well, yeah, but you're also wearing your underwear. It's a 1-2 punch. A 1-2 punch right there for your downstairs. In Idaho, they're looking for pillows, or they're getting dad's pillows that look like sports jerseys, which I think I would take a sports jersey pillow over the husband pillow. Have you seen the husband pillow?
Yes.
It's rather disturbing.
It just has an arm.
Yeah, it's an arm and
kind of just flops over
half of a side of a dress shirt.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
I'm not going to lie. It looks odd, but lonely.
Wait, does the sports one have an arm on it too?
No, I'm assuming it doesn't. But
you're going to be hugged by your favorite player.
I'm not saying I'm going to go buy a husband pillow. I'm just saying that lonely slaps on a whole new level. Kansas, they want to give dads, quote, pills for limitless brain power.
No, that's kind of
So
cool.
I guess now we're just making stuff up. In Maryland, George Washington memorabilia. Over in Tennessee, dads want stuff from the Cracker Barrel store. 4-way volleyball sets in Utah. What is 4-way volleyball? Is that like Foursquare?
People
but in the air? Over our neighbors to the east, Texas, they're looking for luxury toothpicks. Get fancy with it.
Yeah.
And Virginia, they're getting dad's laser engraved beef jerky.
Yes.
Laser engraved.
That seems like a
beef jerky.
That's a luxury.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, you see that stick of jerky you got right there? Monogrammed. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So how about here in New Mexico? Well, we're a little weird, but we're not that weird. In New Mexico, we're getting dad's rustic manly jewelry. I don't even know what rustic. Oh, that's what 4-way volleyball is.
Yeah, it's like a plus sign.
Yeah, it's like Foursquare. But it makes sense. It's an X net basically, and you're
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat idea. Of course, then again, you could kind of do the same thing with just regular volleyball.
Just make some lines,
different quadrants. Then again, the one game that always boggled my mind is badminton.
It's a cross of a lot of different sports.
The shuttlecock moves far too fast for me to be able to keep my eye on it. I can never keep my eye on the cock.
You just wanted to say shuttlecock.
I did, but no, I could never keep. It's such a fast-paced game. I can't really keep up. Speaking of Father's Day, let's dispel some rumors right now. I think this is
there's rumors.
There's rumors. First of all, we all know Dad. He takes pride in certain things. Dad takes pride in his lawnmower. Dad takes pride in, in the way his house is kept, and he also takes pride in his grill skills. Don't you forget it. If you want to do something nice for your dad this Father's Day, back off when he's grilling. Seriously. Let him do his job. Cook. Yeah, a new poll found that 74% of dads don't want anyone else manning the grill this Sunday, and they'd rather do it themselves. Do you think you're doing Dad a favor by, oh, Dad, don't worry, I'll grill for... No, you won't, because I know how I like my meat. You back off. Makes sense, right? It also found that Father's Day is the most popular holidays, one of the most popular holidays to barbecue. The 4th of July is the top holiday to barbecue on, according to the poll. But Father's Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day also made the top 5.
Excuses for barbecue.
That's right.
Good.
I'm always looking for any excuse to barbecue. Yeah, so Father's Day is it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the 7-year-old and the 2-year-old. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to be happy if they can hang out with Mom for a day and let me put my feet up and maybe get back to the normal way of doing things. This last couple weeks has been rough, dude. Mm-hmm. With the kids' childcare being out, we've sort of had to make do and keep the plates spinning, and so I've had to had the kiddos here for large portions of time. That's rough when you don't want the 2-year-old to play with your toys. Trying to keep his hands off it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the group that joined us this morning, the Chavez County Federated Republican Women. They have got a roundtable forum coming up this Thursday discussing cannabis in our community. This is absolutely vital that you get the need-to-know info ahead of all the impending legislation. Recreational weed is coming, folks, and if you want to be in on the know of what it means, of the legal side of things, the legislative side of things, all that, this is a great chance to get that need-to-know info.
It's here.
That's right. Thursday, June 17th. That's this Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 over at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico Archive Building. They're at 200. It's actually 201, I think, North Lee, right here in Roswell. They're going to be joined by Senator Cliff Purtle, Sheriff Mike Harrington, Mayor Dennis Kintai, and representatives from Pecos Valley Production. So they'll have all sorts of need-to-know info. They'll be able to kind of answer some questions, get you informed on some things, on the timeline of things, because I think that's really going to be the thing that's going to stumble people over the next several months is what becomes legal when. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that technically, as of June of this, as of the end of this month, it's technically legal in that they can no longer prosecute you for it. They can no longer arrest you for it. It's no longer an offense. But as far as the purchase of the cannabis goes, that's obviously a whole ecosystem that still has to be built, still has to kind of be constructed. There's people, on the side of things that know what they're doing. But it's, I think, for the best if we kind of all approach it from a mindset of we all sort of have a baseline knowledge of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely going to be an informative evening. Lots of questions being answered. Bring your questions, too, if you've got questions. I know there's a lot of concerned parents out there, people saying, well, this is the opportunity, this is the chance for New Mexico to go to pot, so to speak, that will fall off. But I think that if we look at this as a net positive, I really think that this could be something beneficial for New Mexico as a whole. I mean, it's an increase in revenue. It's an incredible amount.
It's a new industry.
It's a completely new industry. And the other thing is it's an industry that industries are built around it. So not only is it just the growth, but it's also the point of sale. It's the accessories that go with it. Then there's the security aspect of things. There's the handling of the money. There's insurance that goes into those aspects. So this business in itself is building an ecosystem. And it's sort of creating an entire new form of income, essentially, for the state of New Mexico. I see this as a net positive. As long as, the regulations are there and the people who are the powers that be, so to speak, do things the right way. And that, of course, I'm talking about the end user as well. That comes down to even the consumer, make sure to put the experience itself in the best light is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the legality of it helps it.
Mm-hmm. Takes the stigma away.
Like, people think that it's just going to make everybody just dull and, just They're just all lying around doing nothing or whatever. But it's like this was already happening. It was just illegal.
If you've ever seen the movie, the I can't even call it movie, the slam piece, Reefer Madness from back in the day, the old black and white Reefer. That's, I think, what a lot of people see or think when it comes to the Reefer.
There's a lot of stigma.
And in fairness, this ain't your granddad's product. I mean, we're dealing with stuff on a whole different level. It's been synthesized beyond anything that I've ever even thought possible. I mean, if you showed my grandpa the stuff that exists in dispensaries today, wow, yeah, he'd have probably looked for a way to invent a time machine. So it's, and that's the thing is, as more people get involved in the business side of things, I think that we're going to start seeing even more advancements in it. I think we're going to start seeing even more science, even more technology being put into it to make it safer, to make it, more of what its intended stated purpose is, which is medicine. It is, it alleviates pain. It helps with nausea and things like that. So I think that once we kind of put more science, put more eyeballs on it, so to speak, I feel like this is the chance to kind of make it to where it's special. Like it focuses on a special thing, special, ailments, so to speak. And to the point where maybe, you don't have to necessarily smoke it. It's, we know that you're dealing with arthritis, for example. We have this topical ointment that will help with your arthritis. And,
right.
And
you won't go to jail for it.
And they have that now. But I feel like that with more eyeballs on it, with more attention paid to it, the opportunities for advancement, for scientific advancement, really are, limitless. And that's the exciting part to me, I think, is what can we do with it, And then you look at places like Oregon, they're doing what they're doing with legalization of other products like everything pretty much across the board, psilocybin, LSD, things like that. And a lot of those being used in medical treatments as well. Folks who have Alzheimer's, folks who have dementia, issues like that. They've been finding psychedelics are helping with that. LSD is helping with things like that. It's hard to, and depression too, because it's really hard to be depressed when your hands are rainbow gargoyles. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a brave new world that we're entering. It's a real westward expansion with this whole medical or recreational cannabis thing. So come at it from a place of being informed, or at least as informed as you can be. Get some questions answered. It's once again happening this Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico in the Archive Building there at 200 North Lee. It's the Chavez County Federated Republican Women that are putting this event on. Senator Cliff Pirtle, Sheriff Mike Harrington, Mayor Dennis Kintai, and Pecos Valley Productions going to be on hand to answer questions. So definitely a great opportunity to get some questions answered. If you have any questions, you can also head over to the Chavez County Federated Republican Women Facebook page. They'll have all sorts of need-to-know info for you there as well. Heading into the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour toward the top of the 9 o'clock hour, just another quick reminder that, yes, free lunch is upon us. The grab-and-go lunches are available at Roswell High, Goddard, and Berindo Elementary from 8 a.m. to noon, and that's starting now through July the 23rd. It runs Monday through Friday, and that again, Roswell High, Goddard, and Berindo Elementary. If you need more information, you can find the Roswell Independent School District for more info on that. And over in Dexter, now through August the 6th, you can actually pick up grab-and-go breakfasts and lunches, combos, at the following locations. Dexter High School, they're going to have one there at 100 North Lincoln. They're at Midway Assembly of God Church at 63 Yakima Road in Midway from 11 to noon. And then from noon to 1, they're going to be at the Midway Volunteer Fire Department at 6477 Templeton Road. That's from noon to 1, Monday through Friday. So there you go. Grab-and-go lunches are available if you need to feed your breed. That worked better than I expected it to. 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Coming up next hour, we're going to play an interview we had yesterday when I sat down and chatted with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Kind of the everything you need to know, but we're afraid to ask about bankruptcy. Yeah, because we're getting into the post-Rona age. Finances are starting to kind of rear their ugly head. We're all paying attention to things like that. And maybe you've been considering bankruptcy. Well, it's a big thing to consider. It's a hurdle to overcome. And if you've got questions, well, there's definitely some answers out there for you. Matt Bristol is a fantastic resource on lots of need-to-know info regarding bankruptcy and actually a whole lot of other things, too. If you're going through a divorce, if you're dealing with custody issues, legal issues, Matt Bristol and the Bristol Law Office, they can definitely take care of you. But as far as the interview we're going to play, was the sit-down we had yesterday with Mixmaster Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office, chatting all about everything you need to know, but we're afraid to ask regarding both Chapter 11 and the, we'll call it frowned upon, Chapter 13 of bankruptcy, and also the recent legislation that's being pushed through and how that can affect your potential for a future bankruptcy. We'll get into all that coming up next hour. As for right now, you are listening to another Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 KEND, Roswell's Talk FM. Stay tuned.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden has arrived in Geneva ahead of tomorrow's summit with Vladimir Putin. Mr. Biden seems to be softening his tone toward the Russian president. Earlier, Mr. Biden described Putin as a killer. Now he's calling him a worthy adversary. An important component of the U.S. economy, retail sales. They fell last month.
Sales were dragged down by a decline in auto sales, likely due to fewer cars being made amid a pandemic-related shortage of chips. The Commerce Department says sales dropped a seasonally adjusted 1.3% in May from the month before. Wall Street analysts expected a smaller decline of 0.5%. Economists expected retail sales to drop because of the lack of cars available for sale.
Correspondent Jeremy House says while sales fell, wholesale prices rose, up 0.8% last month. High temperature records are falling across the West in the midst of a punishing heat wave.
For Tucson, Arizona set a record. They made it to 112. We had a record in Salt Lake City of 103. And then all the way up in Helena, Montana, set a record of 104. And that one actually really crushed the world record. The old record up there was 96.
And Mark Chenard at the National Weather Service says we can expect more of the same today as the heat wave continues. California about to lift most of its coronavirus restrictions, while across the country in Vermont, that state has just lifted all of its remaining COVID restrictions. The enormous chemical plant fire rocked in Illinois continues to burn, and that is intentional. Authorities allowing the fire to burn itself out, which they say could take a few days. On Wall Street, stocks deep in the red. The Dow is down 156 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index off 74, and the S&P 11 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I have two dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dinovite, I started seeing great improvements. And today, 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dinovite dog, and he has zero issues today. He won't eat his food without Dinovite. When I get out the Dinovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dinovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
The trial of Hong Kong pro-democracy activist and media mogul Jimmy Lai on national security charges was adjourned shortly after it began. The proceedings now scheduled to resume late next month, according to the BBC's Mariko Oi.
He has been one of the most vocal critics of Beijing through the newspaper that he's founded, Apple Daily, and he's also the most high-profile person to be charged under this new controversial bill. So his case is closely watched by the business community to see where the line is really, especially because his assets have been frozen and banks have been warned not to do business with him.
China's government claims no abnormal radiation has been detected outside a nuclear power plant near Hong Kong following a news report of a leak. And Hong Kong's leader says her administration is keeping a close eye on that plant. News and analysis, townhall.com. The U.S. and the European Union have reached a deal to end a dispute over subsidies to rival plane makers.
After a 17-year fight over aircraft subsidies to Boeing and Airbus, the U.S. and EU agreed to suspend tariffs for 5 years. The announcement came from the U.S. Trade Representative while President Biden attended the U.S.-EU summit in Brussels. The deal is good news for an airline industry that has been ravaged by coronavirus travel restrictions. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The state of Maine is launching what's being called a back-to-work program. It includes $1,500 payments to residents who are collecting unemployment benefits and who return to work between the 15th and the 30th of this month. Watching Wall Street this morning, stocks in negative territory with the Dow down 163 points. The Nasdaq is off 75 and the S&P 12 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Ooh, with the trill even of Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday morning, the second day of the rest of your life. Now get up, get at 'em, and do something about it. I stumbled on something through the break there. It just kind of made me chuckle. It made me chuckle, but it also sort of made me cringe because I realized just how guilty I am of this myself. So it's something that was going viral. Basically, a mom was tasked with determining which of these phrases that were presented to her were the thirsty DMs from her son. In other words,
wait. Why is she getting thirsty DMs from her son?
She's not. She was. The experiment is, here is a series of DMs that people have sent out that they're just super thirsty and all. For those who don't know what I'm talking about.
But which ones are her sons?
Now, can you identify which one is your son's?
Ooh.
Yeah, with her son sitting right next to her, by the way. Some of these are absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna play the audio here in just a second, but it's super cringy because I realize I've never said stuff quite this bad, but I have definitely said some stupid things to girls. And this is just granted in the past calendar year that I've actually been doing this.
Can I spend the rest of my life with you?
Yeah, well, that's kind of sweet. That's borderline sweet.
Well, not everybody would agree with that.
Take a listen to some of these. These are pretty good. If I get them to play here. Hang on.
Maybe.
I could commit crimes with those eyes. That sounds so much like you saying something cheesy like that.
Is that cheesy?
Yeah, to me it is.
Okay, all right.
Girl, you are thicky. I hope the hell you didn't say that. I'd come through the phone and choke you.
Do you know what thick means?
It sounds like you're heavy.
So thick means that a girl is curvy.
Oh, you would like that then. Your ex-wife was a little thicker.
The first one, now Tanner shot me a look. The first one he missed was, I could commit crimes with those eyes.
Ooh,
isn't that
that
just,
one's good,
that's
though.
Cringy, dude. That is cringy.
No, but that's still
No, but
decent.
Here's the thing. That's the one that got to me the most because that sounds like something that I would say. Because I'm usually, the first thing I go to is I compliment the eyes because I'm a sucker for pretty eyes. That's where my eyes get drawn. So I always go eyes and smile. So I don't think I've ever said I could commit crimes with those eyes. That's pretty bad. But I've said things like, you could melt steel with your gaze. Things like I've said really cringy things in the past, and I'm kind of realizing,
Let's see, how often did it work?
Hardly ever. You know why? You know why it worked? Here's why it worked. Because I'm a relatively affable and quick-witted dude, and I can see that something's not working, and then I can kind of turn it around. That helps. Having the ability to turn a phrase or two, that can help things. So, but it just kind of made me chuckle. It's like I know that I've been in that position where I know I've used the phrase "dummy thick."
Dummy thick, yeah.
At least once.
Like you be dummy thick.
Yeah, dummy thick with 2 C's, by the way. By the way, it's not going to be this all hour. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we will educate you. Going to be playing the interview we had yesterday, wherein I sat down with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office, and we talked all about all things bankruptcy. So if you're looking to make a fresh start, this would be a great chance to get some of that need-to-know info before you take the plunge.
No more thick debt.
No more, de-thicken your debt, exactly. Lessen the thickness of your debt. And we're going to help you do that. So we'll dive into that coming up here in just a few minutes on this here Tuesday morning. By the way, once again, thank you to Miss Donna Oracion, I always mess her name up, Oracion, from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, for stopping by and chatting up the Beat the Heat registration event. That's happening June 15th through the 17th. That's today through Thursday at the Student Services Building at 56 University Boulevard from 10 to 6. Students are encouraged to register for the upcoming fall semester. If you get registered, you're going to receive a free snow cone and a $20 gift card for the ENMU Roswell bookstore. That'll buy you like 1/4 of a sleeve of a hoodie. Students are encouraged to apply for admission prior to the event. The admission application is available online at roswell.enmu.edu. If you want more information, as Miss Donna said, you can call 624-7000 for all the need-to-know info. 11 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The heat continues over the next few days and no rain coming up for a while. We have downslope wind coming off the mountains, sunshine and hot today. Afternoon highs in the upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70 and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 82 degrees around southeastern New Mexico. Winds, looking at humidity of about 52%. Winds out of the southeast at about 6 miles an hour. Barometer at 30.23 inches with a dew point of 58 degrees. Looking for a high of 100 for today. Triple digits pretty much for the rest. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and say it for the rest of the summer. It seems like 100 for the high today under mostly sunny skies. Winds going to be calm out of the south. About 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly clear, dropping down to an overnight low of around 71 degrees. Winds, once again, going to be calm, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. For your Wednesday, sunny skies, hot and high of around 101. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 15. Wednesday night, mostly clear, 69 for the overnight low for Wednesday night. And then it's pretty much just more of the same. 100 for Thursday, 102 for Friday, 103 for Saturday, 107 for your high on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be hot, so buckle up and get ready for that one. 12 minutes after 9 o'clock, I'm going to pause, pay a couple of these here bills, and after these, our interview with Mr. Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Stay tuned.
As the school year comes to an end and COVID restrictions start to ease, don't lose sight of the lessons learned. Cover your cough, positive personal hygiene, respect one another, show and tell others you love them. Fiscal and social responsibility are great ways to show your love. This is Damon Graham, your local New York Life agent. I can help you show your love to others. Call me at 575-623-0803 so we can determine how you best can show your love. Expect to be blessed.
Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
Authentic Asian dishes start with authentic ingredients, and Asian Market is your one-stop shop for all those hard-to-find authentic ingredients. Kimchi, pork belly, fresh young coconut, white miso paste, and a variety of mushrooms, plus red snapper, cuttlefish, green mussels, clam meat, and more. Authentic flavors like holy basil, Thai chili, and even more waiting for you at Asian Market. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, noon to 7, at 5702 South Main in Roswell. Come experience the flavors of the East at Asian Market.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
Joining me in studio, Mr. Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. How are you doing this morning?
Good, Sean. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. It has been a crazy couple of months. A crazy year, actually. Let's face it. But just kind of the comeback. Just kind of watching things slowly but surely start leaching out. And then all of a sudden it was just like the floodgates were open and now we're, waxed, vaxxed, and ready for hot boy or hot girl summer.
Yeah. Well, Friday night we went out with some friends and of course hadn't been out to a restaurant in the evening for a year. Sure. And the place was packed.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody just can't wait to get out.
Yeah, I mean it's seeing crowds at events. I mean, I'm a, I guess sort of now out of the closet pro wrestling fan, and recently they had a wrestling pay-per-view that I was actually at a friend's house watching, and just to see a packed crowd, you have no idea what a difference it makes to hear them cheer and boo, and it makes such a huge difference. But yeah, we're slowly getting back to that normalcy that. We're not constantly, looking around looking around the corner, staying away from each other. And now we're kind of starting to look at other things. I've had several people say that, they were amazed how many other health problems they ignored because they were paying attention to COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah, heart conditions, issues with blood pressure, diabetes. Because they were so focused on COVID, it took your eye off of other things. The same thing goes with finances. I mean, I know a lot of people were just kind of through get either layoffs or being furloughed, their financial situation got turned on its ear, and we got stimuluses, and we basically said, okay, we'll get through, and now we're through, and now we're kind of in a position of, well, what are we supposed to do now? We just got it's like we got baby birded, we got thrown out of the nest, and we're like, okay, well, it's been a year, what do we do? Where do we go from here? So obviously some people, crazy. Yeah, some people are looking at different options, and one of those options is bankruptcy.
Yep, debt relief.
It's it's a hard reality to face, but that's sometimes people's only option.
Sometimes it could be the credit card bills. It could be a medical event, unexpected medical event, not covered by insurance. A lot of different things could happen. Maybe you lose a car. Couldn't make the car payments, and so now they want the rest of the money after the repossession. Yeah, and
now granted, there's a lot of places, and this is one thing that I have been blessed with on several occasions. A lot of places have, situations set up to where if you can be put on a payment plan, they'll allow that. I mean, COVID understanding has kind of gone a little bit further. There's a lot of people that are like, it's been a rough year. Let's sit down and let's kind of work this out if we can.
Yeah.
Now, some people that's not an option. Some people they've exhausted those options. They've been getting letters. They've been getting phone calls. They've been getting bombarded with things. Some people's situations have completely changed due to divorce. I've talked to several people that their relationship didn't make it through through the COVID. Be it because of that, the strain of just being constantly together. It takes its toll.
Yeah, divorce is hard financially because before you had one rent, one set of utilities, and after divorce you got two rents, two sets of utilities, and if you were living paycheck to paycheck before that, you're underwater.
It's something that you don't really think about until now. It really depends on your perspective because, granted, the kids are thinking 2 Christmases, but I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, how am I going to make it all work on the 2 income that we used to have now, the 1 income? So it's tough. It presents a challenge, and so there's all these different hurdles. And some people can say, okay, I've exhausted the payment plan option. People are beating down my door. The phone calls won't stop. I've been turned over to collection agencies. I need help, and this is that option, is declaring bankruptcy. But it's a lot more complex than a lot of people think. It's not just like you throw down a bankruptcy, everything's fine. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's very complex.
Well, there are a lot of moving parts, and so before you take out the 401k and pay debts, no, don't do that. Come see me.
Right.
In a bankruptcy, your retirement accounts are 100% protected. You get to keep all of them. Even if you have 6 figures in there, you get to keep your retirement accounts. So do not cash those out. Come talk to me first. So if you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, you probably need to come see me for debt relief. If you're only making the minimum payments and just that, not really, paying the debt down, you need to come see me.
Here's the thing. They have worked in this system. It's a cycle to where, the credit card companies, they keep the interest rates at a certain level. They keep it high to where you're making the minimum monthly payments. They're staying off your back, but you're only making those minimum monthly payments. They're continuing to raise that interest. So you're constantly staying at base level. You're never getting out of it.
That's right.
That $3,000 that you have on your credit card, your maxed out at $3,000. That's $9,000 before you know it.
It is. And if you try to deal with them and say, hey, credit card company, would you take a lump sum and call it even? As long as you're making the monthly payments, they won't do that. You actually have to stop making the monthly payments before they'll deal with you.
Right. If you have to be hard for them to work with you.
Yeah.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease mindset, I guess.
Yeah. So as long as they're getting their monthly payments, they're collecting their interest, they're making their money, and nope, they won't deal with you.
Right. So it's a minefield kind of wandering through all this. They have certain systems in place that they are going to succeed. It's the game is set up in their favor. It's basically a slot machine.
Yeah. Yep.
The house is always going to win. So let's talk about the different options as far as debt relief goes.
Okay.
I mean, somebody is into their rope. They're like, okay, I need help. Let's go sit down. Let's talk to Matt. What is the process?
Well, we have to ask them to provide a lot of information to us. So if they end up filing bankruptcy, the bankruptcy court wants to see their tax returns for the last year. So we ask them to bring those because there's some information we may need from those.
Sure.
We have to have paychecks for the last 3 months because we have to scan those in, file them with the court. We want to see all the bills that they have. Not all creditors report to a credit reporting agency. So some of these payday loan people may not be on the credit report.
Right.
There may be some medical bills not on the credit report. So we can pull a credit report on you, but you still need to bring in all the other stuff just so we can get a global view of things. So we ask them to do a budget. One of the sections there's 4 sections to the paperwork, and one is a budget. So we ask them to bring in a lot of information. It's pretty intrusive, but we have to have all that in order to give somebody a decent answer.
It's a puzzle. I liken it to like when I make a commercial. I've done this before. Is when I'm making somebody's commercial, I have to hear it in my head, and then I think, okay, now I break it down. I need this sound effect. I need this music bed. I need that voice, and then I have it all there, and then I start putting it together. And that's exactly what this is. You're painting a financial picture, and you need as broad of a financial picture as you can get in order to start putting the pieces together to fix it.
Well, that's exactly right. Because, a lot of times people just start firing questions, and I'll tell them, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write that question down. And then when I come to the section of the talk about that subject, then I will answer that question. Right. But if we just start firing questions back and forth, we get confused because it's not part of an organized speech of this is how we organize things. And so your car might be a debt, but we have to consider it as an asset also. Because you get to keep certain assets, but there's certain dollar limits on assets.
And that's key too, because that's something that, when I have come and talked to you in the past that you touched on that actually stuck out in my head. You mentioned, they can't take away your access to livelihood. They can't take away your house. They can't take away your car because that's how you get to work. So, and now granted, there are certain dollar limits, like you said. That's actually kind of falls in as far as like different chapters, because there's the chapter 7 versus chapter 13.
Right.
So when you get into chapter 7, that's where they allow you to keep the majority of your assets, or the ones that you are allowed to keep, and they sell off the rest, and sort of that's the way the system works through.
Well, you get the same assets whether you're a 7 or a 13.
Right.
To make things more complicated, there's two lists of things you get to keep.
Okay.
But it's the same for 7 or 13. The difference between the 7 and the 13 is the budget.
Right.
So you do a budget without the unsecured debt. Mm-hmm. And then we see if you have any money left over. And if you don't have any money left over, then you're Chapter 7. It's called liquidation because the unsecured creditors are liquidated out, reduced to zero. If you have extra money, then you're Chapter 13.
Right.
And that money is paid to the bankruptcy court, who pays the unsecured creditors for 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then that's it. That's all they ever get. At the end of 5 years, if they're not paid in full, it's too bad, so sad, they're SOL.
Sure. Now, one of the things that actually I had sort of kind of done a little homework beforehand, one of the things that I had run into and people have sort of had a problem with as far as Chapter 13 goes is if they miss even a single payment on that plan, it in a lot of cases can void itself completely out. You start basically over.
Well, if you don't follow the plan, then the bankruptcy court can kick you out for not following the plan. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say there's a job loss. So you can go back to the bankruptcy court and say, hey, I lost a job. We need a new plan because I don't have any extra money now. Mm-hmm. But for 5 years, they take all your extra money. They take your tax refunds. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty intrusive process.
Sure.
We really don't do 13s and don't see that many people actually qualify for a 13. And that's part of the reason is the budget. So a lot of people say, well, but when a bankruptcy ruined my credit. And I tell them, well, but in the budget, it's a 5-year budget.
Right.
Because if you're in a 13, you're in there for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So if you have to buy new tires, you have to pay cash. Because in a Chapter 13, you can't make new debt. You can't charge it.
Right.
You can't, if the washer dies, you can't put it on layaway because you can't make new debt. You have to pay cash for everything. So in the 5-year budget, you get to save, say, $200 a month for car repair, $100 a month for home repair, $100 a month for clothes or Christmas kind of stuff. So you're saving $400 a month.
Right.
So and that's a legit budget. Even if you end up being a Chapter 7, you can have that savings because it's designed to be a 5-year budget. Well, if you save $400 a month for 25 months, that's $10,000 in the bank. Do you really care what your credit score is when you have 10 grand?
Yeah, good point. I mean, that's the down payment on a house right there.
There you go.
Yeah, good point. That's a great point. Yeah, so that's kind of the focus is obviously the budget is the cornerstone of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And it seems, it's one of those things that seems simple, but it's a lot of people don't actually have that cornerstone in place. They don't have that budget, Yeah. You just think, well, I'll be fine. It's not one of those things that's just kind of that's taught, growing up. You learn your reading, your writing, your arithmetic. Nobody ever sat you down and said, here's how you make a budget. Here's how you write a check.
That's right.
The important things you should have learned.
Yeah, very few people actually come in have ever done a written budget. Because I ask them, you ever done a written budget? Well, no. Okay, well, let me show you how to do it. And so we go through the budget, we talk about it back and forth. And so, most people's budget is, well, they get the paycheck, they pay the mortgage or the rent, car payment, utilities, groceries, blah, blah, blah. And if anything's left over, that goes into savings.
Sure.
And that's an upside down budget. Savings should be the first line item. And the good thing about the budgeting, and whether it's Chapter 7 or 13 in the bankruptcy process, your budget includes those savings for things that do go wrong. So that if your transmission does go, now you can pay cash instead of putting on a credit card, and now you had a monthly payment that you didn't have before.
Now, the other thing is what bankruptcy doesn't cover, because there are certain caveats that bankruptcy will not cover. They won't. If you have tax debt, criminal penalties, they won't cover any of that.
Right.
Child support, and student loans. And that's a big one. That's a huge one. That's a lot of people will actually go to file bankruptcy thinking that's going to be wiped out. That's a big point of confusion for a lot of people. That's not protected.
Yes, so student loans you cannot bankrupt, except in very exceptional circumstances. And those, when I say exceptional, those are extreme. Of course, you cannot bankrupt child support, criminal fines, like you were saying. Some taxes you can bankrupt, some you cannot. It just kind of depends.
Okay.
So that's kind of a tricky question. Also, the type of tax. So if you were a small business person, and you didn't make your payroll taxes. So the government wants those taxes. Got to pay those.
Sure. That makes sense. Now, there's something kind of interesting that's been happening over the last couple of years. Obviously, for the Bankruptcy Reform Bill of 2005 sort of changed things. It set up some things. It made things complicated. It made things complicated for the consumer. It was beneficial for credit card companies. Now, in the last couple of years, there's been this. I wrote it down here: the Consumer Bankruptcy Reform Act of 2020 that's been introduced, and it sort of like seeks to change a lot of the original 2005 Act's kind of issues, so to speak. So how does this affect, like if somebody's coming to maybe, file for bankruptcy, how does this affect as far as like being in that transition mode from one setup to another?
Well, there's still negotiations going on the Hill between the House and the Senate as what's going to include, or are they not going to include. Part of the thing that was, where this came from was the COVID stuff. Was, well, maybe we can make bankruptcy a little easier on people because of the COVID stuff.
Right.
So they're thinking about, at this point, maybe it's just kind of one chapter of bankruptcy, and it's either short bankruptcy or long bankruptcy, again, depending on your budget.
Right.
And how much you really can't afford to pay back. So presently a 13 is no less than 3 years, no more than 5. Okay. Under the new thought, it may be less than 3, just kind of depending. So why are they called Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcies? Do you know?
I actually do not.
It's the 7th chapter in the book and the 13th chapter in the book. They're actual chapters of the book.
Okay. Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, because it's like, okay, well, my thought was, well, they're talking about combining it into a combined Chapter 10. I'm like, well, that does seem like a pretty good number in between 7 and 13. And let's meet at 10. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an actual thought behind it. So there's a book of this.
Of the bankruptcy code.
Okay.
That's just the chapter of the book.
I did not know that.
Pretty silly.
So yeah, so obviously there's a lot going on. There's a lot of questions that people are going to have. There's a lot of, fears going into it.
Yeah.
It's a scary word, bankruptcy. It's the word. It's literally the worst square on Wheel of Fortune, or the worst place the wheel could stop on Wheel of Fortune,
Well, yeah, so that's a good contrast. So in Wheel of Fortune, the player goes bankrupt and loses everything.
Oh.
And our Chapter 7 bankruptcy is the credit cards and payday loan people that lose. Their money's lost, not the consumer, not the debtor's money that's lost. You're getting rid of your debt, and people say, well, do I get to keep my car? And I'll tell them, as long as you pay for it, but you got to pay for it. You don't get a free car.
Right.
So you get to keep your stuff, and it's the credit cards that are actually losing the money, not you.
It's kind of we've been set up to assume certain things about, like the word bankruptcy. It has this haunting air to it. And obviously there's a lot that goes into it. It can affect things, if you're in the process of wanting to eventually to buy a house, it's going to have an effect on that. It's going to pause a few things, but it is a reset. It's a start to kind of get back to square one and then rebuild from that foundation.
Yes, and the bankruptcy lingo, they call it a fresh start. Is to give a person a fresh start, as if they now don't have any of this debt that's crushing them to pieces. So it's a fresh start, not a start from scratch.
Right.
It's not like you have to get a new car, you have to get a house, you have to get household furnishings, you do get to keep your furniture, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's that mindset, because I grew up watching Looney Tunes, and
oh, yeah.
There's that moment when, the credit cards all of a sudden don't, they get declined. Then the guys come in and start like hauling off your couches and your expensive Ming vase, Which I live in a trailer park. They better not mess with my Ming vase. It's kind of all I have. It's like my whole investment.
Yeah, but in real life, that doesn't really happen. They don't come into your house and take your stuff. They don't back up a semi and take your stuff. So we were talking about the fresh start. Winston Churchill was 28 years old when he filed bankruptcy.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
And then he turned out pretty darn good.
Yeah, he pulled it together. I mean, you got to be good at be good at saying stuff, but you have a good mind for what you're doing, but you can pull it around.
Yeah, so he turned out okay.
Huh.
In fact, bankruptcy in England is older than the Constitution of the United States.
Really?
It's been around that many, over 200 years in England. And it's even mentioned in our Constitution.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's been around a long, long time in one form or another. So 300 years ago, they realized, sometimes stuff occurs.
Yeah. Life
Stuff
happens.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody looks at the situation like, oh, you made bad decisions. No, sometimes it's bad luck. The last year, if nothing else has taught me anything, the last year is the worst things in the world can just happen. Just happen. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, the entire world gets shut down for like seemingly no reason. It blows my mind.
Well, and it was bad for, our restaurant employees who couldn't work, but they got unemployment, and restaurant owners don't always get unemployment when they're self-employed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, small business people that didn't get all that extra unemployment money, they may have gotten some stimulus, but they didn't get the extra unemployment.
Yeah. Or I talked to people that, they applied for, the PPP money, some business owners, and they got the first round, didn't get the second round, and that really impacted them, and that messed up their bottom line. And life happens, it gets in the way sometimes. And this is that fresh start. So people have questions. What do they do? How do they get in touch with you? What's the first step?
Well, they give us a call, 625-5284. Make an appointment for debt relief, bankruptcy, I have credit card issues, or, some crushing medical bills. What do I do? And so we say, oh, well, it's a free consult for that kind of stuff. And when you come in, we ask that you bring the following information, and then we send a follow-up email or letter, snail mail, that says, get as much of this as you can. And so a lot of people say, wow, I got some of it, but I don't have all of it.
When you were laying it out, like kind of what to bring, I was like, oh man, problem is I used to have somebody that knew where all that stuff was, and I don't have that person anymore. It's like, well, dadgummit.
Yeah.
So
there's a list about 10, 12 things. And so sometimes folks will call and says, well, I don't have it all. You want to reschedule? No, just bring what you have.
Bring what you guys, as much of a picture as you can paint to start with. That's the best benefit.
That's it. Just bring what you have. We'll talk about the rest. And, if you don't need a bankruptcy, then you don't have to look for the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, in some cases, that's just it. We're not necessarily looking to, hit you or get you into the bankruptcy situation. If there's a way that we could sit down and make a budget and say, okay, you can get out of this. You just kind of, rekajigger things a little bit. Okay, cool. No bankruptcy. No harm, no foul. Consultation and we're good.
Yeah. So I had a young couple one time. The husband worked at Fletsy. And so they came in to talk, and I looked at the situation, and I said, well, you don't have a debt problem. You have a budgeting issue. So let me show you how to budget, and the few little, credit cards that you have get paid off in no time. So, and that was it. Had a little old lady come in recently, and she's, living with adult daughter. Mom's on Social Security. Mom doesn't even own a car, and she's got, $8,000 of credit card debt. And I'm like, well, you don't need a bankruptcy technically, financially, because you don't have anything a creditor can collect against.
Right.
Federal law says they can't garnish your Social Security. You don't own any real estate. I mean, what? You're going to spend an entire Social Security check on me just to file bankruptcy? I said, just ignore them. Throw that stuff in the trash. They can't do anything to you. I said,
and that's that right there. That's worth its weight in gold, because when you're by yourself and you keep getting hit with these letters, final notice, we will collect. We will see. You're terrified. It's overwhelming. You're sitting there. You're looking at this stack of bills and stack of papers. Like, what am I supposed to do? You've seen it. You kind of have that clear mind of, okay, let's take a step back from the situation. Let's look at things, from a realistic perspective. And here's how we can approach it.
Yeah. So we gave her alternatives. I said, my job is to take care of you. So let me give you some options. So I ended up telling her, you have my permission to not pay these people. But most people that work their whole lives, pay their bills. And when they can't, they feel so bad.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing this stuff. Nobody plans, this kind of stuff.
Right.
It just happens to them.
I was raised Southern Baptist. Guilt is sort of like bred into us.
It's just like Jewish faith. Catholic guilt.
Shame, guilt. It's part of growing up.
There you go.
So yeah, we're all kind of it's inherently bred in us that, do the right thing, pay your bills. And yeah, we strive to, we try to, we want to, but life happens.
I guess I was lucky. By the time I was 30, I decided if I couldn't pay cash, I was going to do without.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't going to get it. So on the one hand, I've done without some things, and mainly toys. I just haven't bought toys.
Sure.
I don't have a 4-wheeler because I don't want to have any place to put it. I don't want to have to buy a trailer to haul it around.
I had that thought today or yesterday. I was driving up Main Street and I saw somebody pull out onto Main with their boat. And I thought for just a second, I'm like, well, that would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun to have a boat? And I'm like, hold on. Every second that you're not out in the water, it's a pain in the butt because you got to store it. You got to keep it clean. You got to maintain it. It's, oh my God, that just sounds like a nightmare.
There's boat insurance. You got to have the trailer. It's better to have a friend who has a boat.
Exactly.
And buy the gas.
Get yourself a friend that's got a boat. That's how you do it, people. That's how it's done.
Just buy the gas and enjoy it. And
there you go. Gas and a case of beers. There you go.
There you go.
Head on the open waters.
It's a cheap way to have a boat.
But that's a good mindset though, and that's something that's, again, you've always kind of had that financial level-headedness, so to speak. A lot of people we suffer from the damage that our parents did. We suffer from how they did. If they were paycheck to paycheck, chances are we kind of learn that as a mindset, as a defense mechanism.
Well, that's how you grow up thinking that's normal, and. So, when you're in the swamp up to your butt in alligators, it's hard to remember your goal was to drain the swamp,
right?
When you're fighting the alligators. And so when you're fighting all these bills, it's hard to think of there's a different way to do things or a different way to look at things. And if maybe this perspective would work a little bit better, or there's another perspective that I hadn't thought about. And so that's one of the things I do is say, oh, well, I've seen the situation and there's let's think of 4 choices. Maybe there's 5 choices. Maybe we can combine the second and fourth choice. And so think about these different way to do things. And so take the alligators off their mind a little bit.
Yeah. Because you're treading water. You're trying to make things work. You're not thinking about, logical solutions to the problem. Matt is. Matt's seen these things. Matt, he's been through the swamp several times. He's figured out how to, flip the gators over and tickle the belly until they fall asleep. He's learned techniques, so to speak. And he's a fresh set of eyes that can kind of come at your situation and say, this is how we make it work.
Well, good example is this little lady. Mm-hmm. And of course, these credit card companies, they call, and they threaten, sometimes overtly, sometimes a little subtly, and we're going to garnish this, or we're going to do these nasty things to you. And she says, and I can't pay the utilities. And I said, okay, stop paying the credit cards. Mm-hmm. You need to pay your rent, your utilities, your groceries, your medicine. Those are the most important things.
Sure.
Those guys are not important. Stop paying them. Mm-hmm. Stop paying them. You need to focus on the priorities of life that you need. And she was just so relieved to hear that.
That's all it takes. Sometimes it's just that fresh perspective, that fresh mindset of, okay, we can get through this. We just got to, budget things out. We got to work things out, and it's gonna be okay. We just have to approach it from a realistic perspective, and that's what Matt's about. So, 625-5284, bristoloffice.com. I mean, you are a fresh set of eyes, and that's really where it comes down. You don't necessarily want to jump into that bankruptcy, boat. It's an option that's there. Mm-hmm. If there's other options, if there's other ways to get off, the sinking ship, then we're going to take those options.
Yeah, we can change that hamster wheel and stop it for a second, look at things and say, hey, let's just kind of get off the hamster wheel and do things a different way for a change.
Yeah, and that's big. So I would encourage everybody, if you're coming out of the Rona, post Rona, I heard somebody say BC the other day that made me laugh, before COVID. But yeah, if you're coming out of that situation and you're looking at now your finances and saying, okay, well, what do I do now? How do I approach this? Come talk to Matt. Just get a fresh perspective, a fresh set of eyes. He can lay things out for you in plain English, and not complicate things. And there's obviously going to be a lot of terminology that they're going to throw at you. Let's simplify things. Let Matt approach us. 625-5284. It's bristoloffice.com. By the way, I memorized that number because of how you say it in your commercials. It's literally, it's the timbre of the way you say it. 625-5284. I've memorized your number because of that.
Well, I've enjoyed doing commercials with it.
It's one of those mnemonic device things. But yeah, bristoloffice.com. Now, you are taking face-to-face appointments.
Yes.
Awesome. And yeah, you kind of have been this sort of the whole time for the most part.
When necessary. I mean, when COVID first hit, it was mainly telephonic. But then when it comes time to sign a will, we had people come in, or sign the bankruptcy, we have people come in. And so now if somebody wants to come in person, we're doing it. If somebody prefers on the phone, or if they're out of town, and want to do it on the phone, we still do it on the phone.
What a weird time we're coming out of. I mean, it's so funny to me that I'm sitting here thinking, I can't wait till the day I actually get to meet my therapist. I've never met the person that I've told my deepest, darkest secrets to, because it's all happened over the phone. It's like, it'll be kind of interesting to actually make eye contact with this person that I'm opening up to,
Well, you're talking about the 9/11 thing that came through. Our high school seniors have no living memory of 9/11.
Right. That perspective was put on me literally when I was like, okay, we're 3 months away from the 20th anniversary. That the high school seniors don't have no at all memory.
And probably the college grads have no living memory. They're too young.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I was watching people take their teenage kids, their almost adult kids through, and I'm like, oh yeah, this has been an entire, and then I started thinking, I've lived my entire life just since 9/11, since that happened, since those towers fell. I graduated high school. I failed in college. I, got married. The separation of the kids. Everything has happened since in that post 9/11 age. And now everything is going to be looked at from a post Corona age. We've now you've lived through the pandemic, kids. This is your 9/11. Soak it in. This is the thing that everybody's going to talk about in 20 years.
Just weird stuff. Yeah, had a young man. We talk about investing and financing, different kind of things, stock market, and I said, well, let me show you this thing. And so there's websites you can go to and pick decades to look at what did the market do from this day to this day.
Oh.
And you can flex it, this 5-year period, 8-year period, 2-year period, or whatever. And so in the 70s, there's this huge drop in the stock market. And he says, well, what was that? And I said, well, they call it the Arab oil embargo. They didn't send any oil over. And so manufacturing dropped.
That was the gas shortage.
The gas shortage. People going through
the
gas
long lines
or odd and even.
I remember seeing pictures of that. I wasn't alive for that.
Yeah. And so he says, well, how do you know that's what happened? I said, well, hell, I was there.
Because I was there, man. I lived it. That's right. So I mean, this is your 9/11. This is your that thing, that line in the sand. I can't wait until 20 years from now when we get to walk through the Remembering the Rona Mobile Memorial Museum.
I think it's going to be weird watching reruns of shows on TV with people wearing masks. I think that's going to be a real deja vu.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an interesting new world we trudge into.
Yeah.
But again, Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sean.
Folks,
enjoyed it.
Any questions you have, just as a starting off point, Matt's great at kind of putting a little clarity on the situation, putting a little levity into the situation, and just kind of reminding you that we're dealing with finances. We're not necessarily dealing with, the pulse and the heartbeat. We can get through this.
And there's the whole thing is about moving forward. Okay. None of this is about the past.
Right.
So I don't ever fuss at anybody for any of their past financial decisions, because that's like a bad golf shot. It's in the past.
And we thank you for that, by the way.
I mean, it's over.
Absolutely.
This is how do we move forward in a productive, in a good manner.
Yeah, make good decisions moving forward.
Yeah.
In theory. 625-5284, bristoloffice.com. Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sean.
Appreciate you.
Upper 90s across the area. Clear tonight with our lows near 70, and then a little hotter tomorrow. We'll break into the low 100s and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Wednesday night, back up to 100 on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 77 degrees currently with the humidity at about 52%. Winds out of the southeast at about 6 miles an hour. The barometer about 30.23 inches with a dew point at about 58 degrees. 58 degrees Fahrenheit, 14 Celsius, in case that's how you roll. 100 degrees for the high today under mostly sunny skies. It's going to be hot out there, folks. We are under a heat advisory pretty much, I think, through August at this point. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear, 71 for the overnight low. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles an hour. And for your Wednesday, guess what? More of the same thing. It's officially that time of year when the forecast turns a certain color. It's always right around this time of year that every single day, the pictures, because they always show the pictures on the 5-day forecast, it's just bright orange. Just orange, black, orange, black, orange, black, orange, black, orange, black. And it's going to be hot out there, folks. More of the same for Wednesday and beyond. 101 for Wednesday, 100 for the high on Thursday, all under mostly sunny skies. Sunny and hot on Friday as well. 102 for the high, 103 for the high on Saturday. And then out of the blue, 107 for the high on Sunday. I don't know that there's going to be that much difference between 103 and 107. I just know I'm staying inside those days as much as possible. I think I have to do remotes and stuff, but as much as possible, I'm going to stay inside. Actually, I had something interesting happen last night. In the middle of the night, I got up because it was stuffy in my room, and I had just installed an air conditioner, so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that dog won't hunt. Why is it stuffy in my room? Come to find out, I had been running my air conditioner on its lowest setting this whole time. Sitting here trying to figure out why I'm dying in my house, and I just installed a new air conditioner. Yeah, I had it on low cool and like setting number 1. Check your dials, kids. I mean, I'm not saying you should keep it up to full blast 24/7, but at them peak hours, full blast might not hurt for 20 or 30 minutes. All right, 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let's pause, pay a couple of these bills. First up with your SRN Business Report.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Rich Thomason. In another sign that inflation is heating up, wholesale prices rose 0.8% last month, rising food costs leading the way. Retail sales fell in May.
Sales were dragged down by a decline in auto sales, likely due to fewer cars being made amid a pandemic-related shortage of chips. The Commerce Department says sales dropped a seasonally adjusted 1.3% in May from the month before. Wall Street analysts expected a smaller decline of 0.5%. Economists expected retail sales to drop because of the lack of cars available for sale.
Correspondent Jeremy House. With inflation rising and a fast rebounding economy, the Federal Reserve is poised this week to discuss when it will take its first steps toward dialing back its ultra-low interest rate policies. With business, I'm Rich Thomason.
Times are changing, and today's funerals aren't always the sad and solemn events you might expect. This is Gabriel Casaus from Lagrone Funeral Chapel. Along with hymns and scriptures, today's funeral services are often filled with fish stories, country songs, and a joke or two, golf clubs and hot rods, favorite recipes, and kitchen disasters. At Lagrone Funeral Chapel, we believe a funeral should reflect your loved one's personality, passion, and sense of humor. When you lose a loved one, we're here, because at Lagrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, we make it personal.
900 South Main, Roswell.
Are you looking for a new church home? Tabernacle Baptist Church in Roswell personally invites you to any one of their 4 services, with 3 on Sunday and 1 on Wednesday. Services are Sunday at 10 and 11 in the morning and 6 in the evening. On Wednesday evening, service is at 7. Tabernacle Baptist Church is across from DeBrenham Stadium in Roswell. The family at Tabernacle Baptist Church would love to have your family join them as they celebrate God. Come and grow together.
Well, the geraniums were a little slow at getting started this year, but now they're ready to go. Hi, this is Jim Gill with a lesson in delayed gratification. At Roswell Seed Company, we grow our own geraniums, and that old polar vortex sure slowed them down. But now they may be the sturdiest, most colorful geraniums you've ever put in the ground, so come get yours today. Kind of like your neighbor's son who's still living in the basement. Late bloomers can be the brightest of them all. Or maybe not. Have you seen that kid?
Are you okay? COVID affects everyone and can make us feel alone and overwhelmed with stress, anxiety, and grief. Many of us are worried about jobs, money, housing, testing, and missing classmates, friends, and family. We can help you cope with COVID. Call 505-954-1057 now for free and confidential phone counseling. We are in this together. Cope with COVID. Call 505-954-1057. Paid for by New Mexico Behavioral Health Services Division.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 7 minutes away from 10 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Want to remind you that if you missed any portion of today's show, you can always go back in and check it out in its entirety at ksvptv.com. Just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you can be treated to the show in its entirety. As Mixmaster Tanner on the ones and twos starts to clear his plate a little bit, he'll get as many of those piecemeal interviews up for you as quick as he can, so you can take a look at those as well. But I want to recommend heading over to ksvptv.com, bookmark it, make it your destination, because we've got all sorts of good stuff for you out there. In addition to our show, in addition to the entirety of Good Morning Artesia, you can also keep up with all your favorite local sports, from your Roswell Coyotes to your Goddard Rockets, and of course, your Artesia Bulldogs, the home for all those fantastic teams, and a whole lot more is at ksvptv.com. Just click on the tab that you need to click on. By the way, in the 7 o'clock hour, we were joined this morning by Miss Christina Arnold and Miss Margaret Kinnard from the Chavez County Federated Republican Women, and they are getting together for a town hall meeting, or excuse me, a roundtable discussion all about cannabis in our community. It's coming. You need to be ready for it, folks. This Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico in the Archive Building there at 200 North Lee. They're going to be joined by Senator Cliff Pirtle, as well as Sheriff Mike Harrington, Mayor Dennis Kintai, and representatives from Pecos Valley Production to answer questions and help kind of get your mind wrapped around what it is over the next year that we're going to be going through with the transition to legalization, recreational legalization, and then, of course, to retail point of sale. It's going to be very interesting to see how things go as licenses are doled out, and of course, as a committee is formed to kind of make sure that we're going about this in the right direction, or that we're doing this the right way, and not stepping on toes, not giving someone undue advantages or undue disadvantages. We want to make sure that we are hitting the ground running as one of the best examples of a transition to recreational cannabis. And I think this is a great opportunity to get those questions answered. So be a part of that forum that's happening this Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico there at 200 North Lee. And again, that's with the Chavez County Federated Republican Women. So be a part of that event. In the 8 o'clock hour, we were joined by Miss Donna Oracion from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and they too are gearing up for a big event. Now through Thursday, they're inviting students out to beat the heat during this 3-day registration event at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. You can stop into the Student Services Center at 56 University Boulevard from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. today, tomorrow, or Thursday, and register for the upcoming fall semester. Once you do that, you're going to be getting hooked up with a free snow cone and a $20 gift card to the ENMU Roswell bookstore. Not too shabby, right? All for, taking that first step out and saying, I'm ready to make a change in my life. I'm ready to figure out what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. I'm going back to school. This is a great place to do it. If you get registered today through Thursday, you're going to get hooked up in the process. Now, students are encouraged to apply for admission prior to the event. The admission application is available online at roswell.enmu.edu. Fall classes begin August the 16th. And if you want more information, call Advising Services at 624-7294. And again, once things kind of wrap up just a bit, Tanner will get all that info up over on the Facebook page there for the 106.5 Roswell Talk FM Facebook page, so you can have access to it there as well. 3 minutes away from 10 o'clock as we limp towards the finish line yet again on another Tuesday morning. Once again, Mixmaster Mike Winters will be back inside your radios this time next week. He's off enjoying himself, enjoying his vacation, exploring the Western Expanse and the Grand Canyon. That's one of those things that, like, I would love to scratch off the bucket list, but I feel like once you go, you're like, cool, there's the hole. You guys want to go down to the bottom of the hole? All right, we're going to do that. I'm going to leave you with a few random facts for your Tuesday. You know the band Weezer? Do you know their first gig ever was in 1992? Yeah, when they opened for a band called Dogstar. That's significant because Dogstar is Keanu Reeves' band. Yeah, the Sweater Song people opened up for Keanu Reeves' rock band. Go figure. The whitest state in the U.S. is Maine. 93.1% of the population in Maine is white, followed by Vermont at 92.7%. Hawaii is the least white at 21.7%. I got to imagine that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel on that one as well. John Hughes, legendary 80s filmmaker, wanted to film the baseball scenes for Ferris Bueller's Day Off at Comiskey Park, but got not much more iconic Wrigley Field because he was a White Sox fan. But because of the shooting schedule, they actually had to film a Cubs game instead. Yeah, so actually didn't get the wish to play on the less famous field. And finally, in some random facts for your Tuesday morning, the famous sky and grass photo that was the default background on Windows XP is from Napa Valley, California. And it only looks like it does in the photo because an insect infestation had wiped out all of the grapevines in that area. The more you know. A few random facts to wrap up your Tuesday morning. The rest of your day is on its way. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. We'll get back at it again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, as we get you one day closer to a return to normalcy when Mike Winters is back in the captain's chair where he belongs. We'll get back at it again tomorrow morning. You're listening to 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Till tomorrow, be seeing you.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.